Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner and I'm here with Matt Murray.
Hello there.
Sean Bell is also here.
We're not all. Are we doing all? We're all doing hello there again. Is this the thing now?
I don't know. Why have you done that again?
I was just saying words.
I mean, why am I asking the question? The power was in my hands, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I could have
it
just
was.
not done it, and then that
You
would
could
have
have
been it.
And
here we are.
as
Sean
we
Bell is
talked
also
about
here.
last week, we weren't saying hello there. I was just saying hello there.
Sean Bell is also here.
Hi.
And James Farley.
Well, hello there.
Fucking hell. We'd like to start the show as we always like to start our show by giving a brief shout out to the Full Nels crew. They are the Patreon producers. Their names? Aaron Patrick, the QuickBooks chap, Simon Nelson, Tom S, Jack Oven, Moomin Biscuit, Dave Vernsberger, Colin Brown, Gazman, Palace of Shite, Gabby Pereira. I mean, it was probably, you could have done that any other season. Graham Mackay, Rocketman76, Rex Reese, Happy Birthday Sam, Love from Neil, aka Bitch in Sync, Grey Dragon Claw, and Fred Fenge. What a crew. You can shove your A-team right up your arse. We got the Major Nels crew. Yeah? What about that?
Which one of them's Mr. T? I think it has to be Tom S. Because he's the only one with an initial.
Yep, that's a good point.
So there you go, Tom S. Well done. Congratulations.
Mr. S. Don't have the same effect, does it?
No, not
You don't
really.
get the same sort of pang of nostalgia by hearing Mr. S.
No.
You could go full Nels if you want. Just pop along to patreon.com/TCGS. There's a Full Nels tier there. You can become one of the 18 beaters. But of course, there are various different tiers. You can listen to, we've done our Patreon show for this month. That's out there. Find out all about Sean's holiday, operations, and all sorts, not the game, and all sorts of other little nuggets of information.
Aliens?
Is Matt Murray still excited about aliens coming down? Yes or no? Only our patrons know. So go and sign up to that tier, or we've got a Talks Over tier, which this month you'll be able to watch me in a 1980s game show as a little child. We'll be watching that later on in the month. So make sure you sign up for that. And join us live. We will tell you dates when we know them. But we've got it. It's all set up. It's all on YouTube. It's all ready to go. So we could do that. We could do that any moment. It's quite exciting. Right. Feedback for last week's show, Matt. They all love it, did they?
Some did. This message comes from 100 dozen fractured soup bowls. Well, yes, with James Farley taking a year off the source for the Gotti show this year, one of the others will have to step up to the plate and impair himself. I know Sean is generally teetotal. Would you describe yourself, Sean, as generally teetotal?
I would. Broadly. Teetotal, yes.
Right, okay, so just to explain for new listeners, you've not touched a single drop of alcohol. There's not been...
I mean, I've had like sips of some. I had a bottle of Beck's when I was about 15, which is probably which is, I always say, is probably what threw me off because it's fucking gross.
Yeah, but everyone thinks beer's gross when they're 15, right?
Because it just is. That's the thing.
It tastes like, but it's like coffee as well at that age. You just like
quiet taste. You just get
See, I still despise coffee, but I'm
but
just
you
a
didn't get
child.
into a hooch. You didn't try a hooch.
I didn't try a hooch.
Being into
No.
Mad Dog 2020.
You would have been all over the hooch, mate. You'd be loving that.
Yeah.
And no drugs, no hardcore drugs.
No drugs, never. Not even medicine, genuine medicine. Obviously, is fine.
Genuine medicine. What about any herbal remedies for headaches? Have you ever tried any of those?
I mean, you've made that sound more suspicious than it is, but yeah, whatever.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I didn't mean that. Fine. Okay, let's carry on with the question.
I know Sean is generally teetotal, but so instead he could perhaps fast for a week like an ancient Celtic shaman. Or shaman. Alternatively, when I used to work the night shift, the necessary sleep deprivation of a 40-hour long day was pretty good at getting me in something approaching an altered state. Final option, I've heard that drinking 2 litres of milk in one sitting has a similar effect as drunkenness.
That's not true.
I'm just trying to help out with ideas.
I was going to
here.
say. Yeah.
How would you know, James? You can only get it in 1 litre bottles, can't you?
Here, but that's one of the reasons why it's a bit annoying, isn't it?
Here, here. I'm
Because
gonna go
it's
here.
annoying.
He's
It
2
really
litre of
affects
milk
your-
sessions. He's
Yeah.
gutted.
I could do 4. I could do 4.
You could do 4 litres.
No, I'm joking.
In one
Of course not.
sitting.
All right, I was about to say.
Yeah, because 2 litres, that's one of the... Yeah, that's only one of the sort of tall but slim bottles, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah, that-
no,
that
one
is-
of those in a
no.
session.
That's a.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not. That's
It
a
is.
TikTok challenge, isn't it? That's the one where they drink it and then just throw up instantly.
Nah,
Nah, not one of those. You need like a
2
big
litres.
fucking 4 litre one to surely
Stream,
get that sort of...
stream.
But there's
stream,
no way.
stream,
There's
stream,
no way
stream,
2
stream,
litres
stream.
has the same effect as drunkenness. So I'd love to see if that's the case. But
No.
I
Okay,
think
so we
would've-
set up a stream.
I think we would've-
Sean and James are going to chug 2 litres of milk. James, you're going to have to buy 2 bottles, mate. I'm sorry, but you know,
Maybe.
crack them both open. You'll be fine. God, can we do that? Should we do that?
I mean,
we should absolutely
but the
do
thing
that.
is, there's a difference because you're saying chugging it, right? But this says 2 litres of milk
Oh,
in
here we
one
go.
sitting.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like-
Okay, here we go.
I mean, you can't. I mean, yeah, downing
I'm
it in
thinking-
one go
don't
would
call
be
me
very
that.
difficult.
But I don't think that's what they're saying, is it? That's
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, but define one
Okay.
sitting.
Exactly.
I don't know,
Could
in the
be-
space of like 20 minutes. I don't-
Well, you reckon you do?
That's a
What
piece
if we
of
made it?
piss.
What if we made it a race between the 2 of you?
Yeah, could
Yeah,
do
it's
that.
much
Like the
better.
first one
Yeah.
to finish 2 litres of milk.
But then
wins.
Yeah,
James-
whoever doesn't have to do a fax.
James already has an impairment because he's going to have to go between 2 bottles unless he decants them both into one larger vessel
have to do
before
that,
we
No,
yeah.
that's
start.
all right. Yeah, but if you're taking 20 minutes, I think he'll be all right, surely. He's got
Well,
enough
no,
time
if
to
it's a
open
race,
the second
if
bottle.
it's a race, that changes everything.
It's got enough time
Oh,
to get to
yeah.
a shop and buy another 2.
Yeah.
I think it'll be fine.
I love the idea of me and James both getting really fucking alpha about who can drink milk the quickest.
Yeah, I like the idea. I like the idea of someone like going around Twitch just seeing what streams are happening and then going, oh, I wonder what these guys are doing, the computer game show, and you're both just sitting there with a 2 litre bottle of milk in front of you.
Do you know, I'm just
going,
imagining.
Milk
ready,
challenge.
3, 2, 1.
I'm also just imagining like the layout that Matt's going to come up with for this as well. You know,
Yes. I mean,
Is
I'm
Matt gonna
definitely
be the
using
young-
Okay, okay, I've had an idea, right?
Mhm.
So the game show that we're going to watch that I was on in the 80s, there's only
Oh my God.
16 minutes long.
So do we follow that up with the milk
we
challenge?
need to pack it up. Yes, we follow it up with the milk race between
the milk
Sean
run.
and James.
This has
The
got to
milk
be
run.
regular full fat milk though. You know, not any of that like
We're
UHT
not
going-
or
we're not going
semi-skimmed,
or
no.
anything. No,
I mean, I wouldn't want to go
Okay.
fully skimmed. Have you ever had skimmed milk?
it's gross, isn't it?
Fucking
It's like,
horrible,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
water.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Let's
I
not.
mean-
There's something they can agree, like 2 competitors, like putting their arm around each other, going, "Yeah, we agree on something."
Yeah,
at
yeah,
least."
yeah.
What-
Yeah,
I mean,
gentleman's
what-
agreement.
why aren't we all doing it, David?
Because at one, I don't like milk.
Whoa.
Two,
Don't like milk?
you don't like beer, Sean. Don't
It's
don't
disgusting.
look down on me. Two, I didn't say that I could drink 2 litres of milk in one sitting. I know I can't. I absolutely know I can't. Whereas these 2 lads were like, yeah, easy, go on, get the fucking cow now. You know what I mean? Like, it's I mean, if you want to join in, Matt, you're very welcome to.
I mean, I love a competition.
Matt's in. Matt's in. I'll be the referee. I'll
Do
be
you know what
the
I'm looking
ref.
forward to the most? Telling Lou
Milk.
that I'm not going to need any dinner that night.
Preparation.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
It's all right.
we're
I'm
on.
gonna
That's going to be on the
surrounded by
Patreon stream.
cookies as it's going on. It's going to be amazing.
What?
I'm going to have like a load of cookies and stuff out as well. I'm going to be like, I don't know.
It's a bit early for Santa.
Where's that? Why's your mind gone that way?
Because milk and cookies taste really good.
Milk and cookies is an all-timer, 100%.
Okay.
But I don't think you're going to have
Alright.
time, are you?
I don't think I've ever done that.
You never did milk and cookies?
I don't think I've ever thought, I love
Mate.
milk, love cookies. I've just never thought to combine the 2.
Oh my God.
No, they taste so good. Seriously,
Yeah, man.
because it's like Sean knows what I'm talking about.
It's just an
good.
incredible pairing.
Ooh,
Yeah.
oogie.
All right. Well, 100 dozen fractured soup bowls. Thank you so much for your weird email there. It's turned into something exciting for our Patreon crew. So we'll be doing that. And I can't believe you actually can do this. This is going to be great. Okay, cool. Next.
No, yeah, they continue. Also, James forgot to do the bongs during the news. James, bong update?
I'm not sure if I'm going to do it anymore or not. I'm decided.
All right, well, find out later in the show whether
Oh,
James.
News
How's
just
James
texted
called
me.
bongs?
News just
How's
texted me
James?
saying, I can hear you. Why are you skipping a dinner? What's happening?
Sean,
Genuine concern.
I just typed in on Google drinking 2 litres of milk, and the first thing that comes up is it bad to drink 2 litres of milk?
Well, what's the answer?
It seems yes. But...
yes, it's bad.
Yeah, isn't it the one where they throw up? I'm sure it's the one where they throw up. Anyway, let's move on, because we've been talking about this for too long.
That'd be brilliant if there's an actual reaction. We're all like vomiting in the food and drink category.
You've just ignored me there, Matt. Let's move on. Get to the
do
next
what
bit
I
of
want,
feedback.
mate. You're not a boss of me.
Kind of am.
This podcast is not... Actually, no, I'm putting a stop to this podcast right now. Everyone, cross your arm. Okay.
Industrial action. I like it.
Yeah. Cross your what?
Cross your
arms. What did you want us to do? Cross your
arms. Everyone sit down. In silence. That's it.
That's how we podcast, is it?
So I podcast now, mate.
What's going on tonight?
Hey, don't worry. I was just using a bit of control there, James. You should try it sometimes. Right. Host of Hit Podcast. I don't think
you should, James.
You're just doing not like that. I'm not going to.
That's a great way to prove power in the podcast dynamic.
Cross your arms.
Right, can we get on, please? Host of Hit Podcast Monster Mash says, Monster Hunter Rise, lads. Everyone's forgot about it, we said. Capcom's best-selling single-format game, hugely popular. Online is shit, we said. Surely online is the best it's ever been. It's much simpler than World. Give it a 4-man stream and then Gotti, you cowards.
Well, hang on. Hold on. I never said the online was shit. I just said it's on the Nintendo Switch, which means there's no fucking voice chat and it's just a bit of a pain.
That is true. That's true.
But yeah, so, unfortunately, that's enough to throw me and my friends off.
The other point there, I think I was making all those other points, and I've never played it. I was just dropping them in there to see how angry I could get Sean, and turns out he didn't really get that angry about it.
No,
so,
I absolutely battered the campaign when it came out, and then finished that, and then that was it. And it was well good. As I say, I do love it. It's just it's not stuck around just because in terms of multiplayer, me and my friends. I don't know why I paused then. That sounds weird, doesn't it?
Were you thinking of another word? Are you like crew?
It's definitely a different relationship, isn't
Posse.
it? It's definitely a different type of relationship.
Me and my colleagues.
Me and my friend.
Me and my friends, I definitely have not played any Monster Hunter World.
Has there been too much Monster Hunter in recent years? Yes or no?
Oh no, absolutely not.
See, it's okay. All right.
Are you trying to say that you feel that there has been, David?
I think it's hard to say it about a series you love, because I've felt about games like that before where I've gone, is this too much? And that fear comes up when we're talking about Forza Horizon. I've not played it yet, but we're going to talk about it later. But there is going to be a point where that series goes, okay, yeah, but it's now what? Come on.
Yeah.
Now what? Yeah. And I just wondered because you were massively into Monster Hunter and still are, but the previous two, you've sort of got to that sort of what's usually the start of the end game, which keeps you playing for hundreds of hours, and you've stopped. So I was just wondering if the feeling was there yet, that maybe...
No, I think that's just what I'm like, because I've never, like any Monster Hunter game, I've never got into the sort of proper top-tier end game stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, World was probably the furthest I ever got through any of that stuff.
Okay.
And then sort of World, I sort of dipped back in occasionally when there was new events and stuff. Obviously, they did the Iceborne expansion, which was fucking solid. So, yeah, I'll be picking up the expansion for Rise, definitely. But it might just be a case of smashing through the campaign and then putting it to one side, I suppose.
Okay. Fair enough.
It's just, I think it's just how I generally play stuff now in free time, etc. Also, Sea of Thieves taking over as our sort of go-to multiplayer game probably didn't help.
Are you still playing that quite regularly, or have you moved on from that now?
Yeah, no, still playing Sea of Thieves, yeah.
Blimey. All right, okay.
Wow. Scott Wallace, please, James, think of your beloved listeners. I find your news coverage exhilarating and commentary insightful, but please do something about that reverb. I work the security night shift at a renowned museum, and hearing your booming voice often puts me on edge. The other night, I dropped and broke my torch when I mistakenly thought someone was cackling in the natural history wing. Thank you in advance for any help you can provide for your nervous listeners.
How How legit do you think that is? Is that a piss take, or does Scott Wallace actually work in a museum at night?
I was on board until he mentioned dropping his torch, and then I thought, hang on.
Yeah, hold on a minute.
That happened in the museum, didn't it?
Oh, it did happen in that film, didn't it? Yeah, he's
famously.
absolutely done this.
I mean, we do have an update, don't we? This is obviously huge for as a recent story, James. Do you want to tell everyone about what happened in the week?
What did happen in the week? I don't know.
You put some curtains up, didn't you?
Oh, was that? Has it been a whole show since that happened?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I've got some curtains now anyway. And
okay, some curtains.
Yeah. I've got some curtains in the room that I'm doing this in. I mean, obviously, there is still reverb, which, sorry, just get used to it, because I'm not buying any more stuff for this room.
Oh,
so,
you're not buying any more stuff for that room. It looks. You're not buying any more stuff for that room.
No Fox Farley over here.
Well, no,
Jesus.
I mean,
episode title.
Still, you take the money though, right, James?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, my point being, it's taken you 2 months, right?
Yeah.
And you said, I've ordered the curtain rail. And I was like, okay. I've put the curtain rail up. I was like, okay, it's been a while since you got that. I'm going to order some curtains. I thought, why didn't you order the curtains?
Yeah, you can just order them
before
together.
then. Okay, fine. I've put the curtains up. Fine, that's great. Yeah, so I've got curtains now in this room.
Yeah.
And I went, James, what about all the other rooms? Oh no, I'll do them later. I was like, fucking hell.
Well, no,
One room with curtains in.
This shows my dedication in that I did this room first, like before any of the other ones.
Well, what's that room for?
It's the living room.
It's the living room,
Yeah.
right? So you've still waking up. What you did in your bedroom?
Yeah.
It's still when the sun comes up. That's it.
Yeah.
You boom, fully illuminated.
Natural light.
Neighbours peering in
Wow.
through the window, just kind of trying to get an eye.
No, we're on the top floor. No one can see nothing. It's great.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about top floor, James, actually more people can see from further away.
Not
Good
here.
point. Also,
True, yeah.
what about the window cleaners that come up on that little platform thing? They go,
Yeah, abseil down,
and
see
then
you
just
in your,
having a little
in your
look at
pants.
them. Yeah.
Kenny Loggins, after your bit about macro last week, reminded me about how I used to play my parents like a fiddle to get them to take me there as a kid. Had to convince them I could help lift the heavy boxes and furniture my mum would always want to get. Why? Because I had a 2.5-minute demo of Super Mario Bros. On the NES, which was just a full NES encased in crystal plastic, with a little plastic arm that pushed the reset button every 2.5 minutes to prevent people getting too far.
What the fuck?
Is that
Surely
That's
not.
awful.
That's so petty. I love it.
Surely that's not real. A little robot arm pushing a
Like,
button.
what is it, like one of those when you get to IKEA and
Yeah,
you look at the chair
the chairs,
and it's
yeah,
got
yeah.
the thing that pushes down in the chair?
Yeah.
Is it like
Like that.
is it like that on a reset button?
Wow.
Go on.
Shocking. Well, Macro, you birthed a Super Mario Bros. Pro with that device. I got so good at the introduction to the game, I could get to level 1-3 without even looking at the screen anymore. Macro was my Toys R Us, as the one in Coventry was just filled with tech and gaming stuff that you could play. It was like going to an arcade. Was also that when I was also there, I tried out Where in the World is Carmen San Diego too. Never had the clue what was going on though. Classic. Video game pods were the best. Losing the high street and all that stuff, it's sad change the world has gone through. Keep up the good work, boys and girls, and Sarah's on as well. You're also an avid listener, an avid socials listener, Kenny Loggins. Appreciate that, Kenny.
There are two that I remember the most, right? And they weren't that old, I'm afraid. But I suppose the first PlayStation, I remember that being set up in my local indie store and played Destruction Derby on that a lot.
Yeah.
And just thinking, whoa! And then the other one was playing the 360 for the first time on those pods with the Samsung TVs, the HD
TVs.
I remember firstly just thinking, this is the most comfortable pad of all time. And then like seeing the HD graphics for Call of Duty 2 and just going, this is unbelievable. Yeah, good times.
Yeah, I used to get so excited about that stuff. I mean, I remember seeing the first time I was 164 was in Guildford. I've definitely mentioned that before when I got to play Mario 64.
I remember that. Yeah.
And then the first time I saw it wasn't the first time I saw SNES, but I remember seeing Donkey Kong on the SNES in Debenhams and Southampton, and that was like, wow, these graphics are incredible. The first time I played PS1 was actually on a pod, and what was that fighting game where it was like humans but also animals? It wasn't
Tekken?
Yeah,
No.
surely.
Yeah, in mine Primal Rage. I remember seeing
Primal
Primal
Rage
Rage.
Was just dinosaurs, wasn't it?
Oh, it was just dinosaurs.
Right. Anyway, it wasn't. Anyway, whatever it was, I'm sure someone would message us. But yeah, I remember seeing that in the Woking version of game.
I think you're thinking of Tekken because Tekken had a few animals in it.
Yeah,
I know it did, but no, it wasn't. It wasn't that. It was. And I don't think it's one you mentioned. I'll find it after this. But
okay.
Anyway, but I used to love God, I get to see like it's it's just exciting, isn't it? Seeing like a new console. What's it's exciting seeing a new console like that.
Yeah.
I remember playing a lot of Sonic 2 in boots. It's so weird because it's all like
the game was called Bloody Raw. That was the one.
Oh, okay.
Bloody Raw. Okay, all right.
I don't think that didn't have any people in it though, did it?
It was actually Tekken.
Well, no, I just googled fighting game animals PS1, and that was it was Bloody Raw. That's the one. Yeah.
Okay, Bloody Raw.
Have I told my Shadow of the Colossus story?
I don't know,
but I'm excited to hear it.
It's a banger. Long story short, I'd been playing it for about a month on import, and then it came out in the UK, and then I was in Virgin Megastore in London, and they had it on, and it was Colossus number 3, the one with the massive sword, and he slams it down and you run up it. Anyway, so I just started playing it and was doing that, and then there was one bit, it's sort of, I lost grip as like he swung his arm up, and I sort of flung up in the air, and then managed to grab like the top of his head on the way back down. And then heard like a load of people go, whoa! And looked around, and there was about like 10 people watching me play it. And I felt really cool for a bit.
Did this happen?
It did. It really
did. Did it happen, or was it one of those dreams that you think happened afterwards?
I've probably added more people as time's gone on.
1,000 people in that game.
It was one bloke behind you going, "Oh, well done."
It was Richard Branson was there, and he said, "Have £1 million quid."
£1 million.
Yeah.
And then he swooshed his blonde hair and then went off to space. James, how was it like seeing a demo pod for the Spectrum?
Very funny. Although what I do remember playing was I remember also playing Super Mario Brothers, like the first one. But then also I remember playing Hook for the NES as well in Dixon's.
Was that really good?
God.
It was awful. It was a terrible game. It was bad film, terrible game. It was, but it was.
Do people not rate that film?
No,
because that was at a time where everything was good when I was a kid. Do you know what I mean? When you watch a film, and it was good, right?
Yeah. I don't remember it being great, but I don't know.
Isn't it funny though, like Boots and Debenhams and stuff? Like, obviously, gaming is now bigger than ever and way bigger than it was back then. But you can't imagine any of those shops giving a shit. Wait, is Debenhams still going? Did they?
No, Debenhams is gone now. It went only recently.
Yeah, they're gone. Yeah, they went recently.
But do you know what I mean? Like, you can't imagine any sort of big department store being like, "Yeah, here's a fucking PS5. Have a go."
But yeah, I mean, I remember getting games in WH Smiths, and that was like that was a great place to get games. Yeah, Boot, Debenhams Concessions, obviously,
Woolworths.
Woolworths, yeah.
I always remember the Holy Grail. That apparently they trialled it in a few places, but I never saw one. They were never sort of rolled out nationally. I think it was WH Smith was supposed to get them. It was just a machine where it had just hundreds of games on it, and it would just record the tape for you there and then. Like, you'd choose a game and it'd be like, right, give me 5 minutes.
Whoa.
And yeah, exactly.
Well, it's like a vending machine.
Exactly. And it would just record the tape for you and then spit it out and then you pay for it. And I remember thinking, like, oh my God, that's the future. How could anything get better than this? Never got it was never mass adopted. So,
right, did it ever happen where it was like you did it and then it was like Wham or something on the tape and you were like, oh, for fuck's sake, I'm going to take it back.
Fuck's sake,
I mean, you have to wonder, like it, because of the errors you used to get on those tapes, even when they were made in like a proper factory. So a little kiosk in WH Smith's probably not going to be that reliable.
Yeah, it's probably not the best way of doing it. Not high quality gaming. It didn't come in HD. Right, okay, come on.
It was 0D. That's it for feedback.
0D back then.
Go to tcgs.co/dear TCGS if you want to leave us feedback.
Episode title 0D. Write it down, Matt. Right, it's a bumper news week, James. It's a bumper news week. Got so much down here.
Can you do the bongs,
You better
please?
start chipping away at it, mate.
Yeah, we're going to need a lot of bongs to get through this.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Matt. I'm just about to...
You spoke over the bong. Yep. You did not respect that bong, Matt.
Oh, you should learn to respect the bongs a bit more, James.
That doesn't make any sense.
Need to... What is going on, Matt?
So I misheard
Today
them.
you're in your own little world.
Yeah, it's
You
great.
can't speak over the bong, disrespect the bong, and then say to James he's disrespected the bong. Like he was doing the bong.
Oh, I didn't hear him do that bong. We did the bong at the same time, and then you can't hear the other person, which happens actually a lot of universities. So,
What do you mean do the bong at the same time?
well, I must have done a bong when he did a bong. That's all I can say.
No, you didn't do a bong. You just shouted over his bong.
Oh, right. I think I
Okay,
did.
listen.
This is why
I don't know what's going on. Matt has broken down this week, and
Look, I
we're
had
going to try and boot him
I had
up
the flu
again.
jab, and I think it's affecting my brain.
Can someone hard reset Matt, please? Right, let's go.
I do need a hard. Okay, let's move on.
It sounded like you went, I went to uni, then out of nowhere. That was really weird. Okay, whatever.
I didn't say
That's
that.
just his rebuttal to any argument. I went to university. Actually,
Oh yeah, didn't pass.
Good.
Okay. Bong. Nintendo Switch sales down 34%. Total units sold hit 92.8 million.
I was going to say, is
console.
this just because everyone on Earth's got one now?
I think so,
Yeah,
Yeah,
what's the story
fair
here?
enough.
And not only that, sales were just insane last year because
Yeah.
everyone was in lockdown with kids.
Yeah.
So I
It's-
think
it's that.
it's not really an indication
Animal
of
Crossing
anything
time.
other than the market.
It's that, and it's also because there's been the semiconductor shortages as well. That's the other reason why nobody can buy them or PS5s or Xboxes and stuff like
I
that.
thought Switches were still in decent supply. Are they not?
They're in reasonable supply, but they've not been able to make as many as they wanted to. Like
Okay.
they wanted to like put out more, but obviously
All
they
right, but they were hard to get hold of last year as well,
didn't.
throughout lockdown.
Yeah.
So go on.
Yeah. So anyway, they sold 8.28 million units, and
Okay.
1.8 million of those were Switch Lites. And software also decreased by 6.3%. But they've still sold, as I said, 92.8 million of them now. And it's weird because when I remember when we talked about this not so long ago, it always felt like it was at around 20 or 30 million, and then now suddenly it's like 93.8. It just feels like that's a massive jump from when we last talked about this. I don't know.
Well,
It's just me.
I guess a lot of people just started ordering more Switches for their household than they have
Yeah.
humans.
Almost
Yeah,
certainly,
that'll
yeah.
help.
4
Yeah,
times the
yeah,
amount,
yeah.
apparently.
It does help, doesn't it?
I wonder. We don't know the total number of Switch Lite sales, do we? Ever
No.
of all time.
It's-
So I'd love to know if they think that's been a success or what.
I mean,
It's been a success, isn't it?
yeah,
The Switch Lite?
It's
Yeah,
a
gotcha.
lower percentage. If it's a lower percentage, obviously, of the total sold, but it's still pretty decent. I mean, they're still selling loads of them. So, yeah, I'd imagine that will keep picking up as well. But they're also expecting that sales are going to increase in the second half of this year because of the OLED as well. If people are starting.
No, I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. I know a lot of people that go, so what's new about it? It's a new screen. Right.
Yeah. But then also, they've just recently said that they're now considered the Switch to be in the middle of its life. So we've got quite a few more years left before
It's been out-
before a new one
It's
comes
been out 5 years now, yeah?
Yeah.
Over 5 years. So they reckon it's got a 10-year
Fucking
life.
hell.
Yeah, they reckon it's got a 10-year
Well,
life.
no, hold on. You got to remember that they're not saying 10 years until their next console, another 5 years until their next console.
No, it
they're
could be
saying the
sooner.
life of the Switch,
Yeah, there'll
and
be
there
some
will be
overlap.
overlap.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long do you think? What do you
Yeah,
reckon?
so overlap, what,
Put a year on
2?
it.
I reckon. How? If we think, I think a sensible overlap would be what, 2 years? 2 years.
I
since
reckon
the release of one-
2024. I'm going to say 2024.
I reckon earlier
What?
than that. I think
2024
2023.
on a new console. You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon new console 2024.
I think it'll be
Yeah, I reckon that's
sooner
sensible.
than that.
Okay.
You reckon
Sean,
2023,
you said-
James?
I'm going with 24 as well. I mean, it's been a while since we've had a 10-year console generation. But I think the Switch is probably big enough, and it's never been it was never the most powerful thing. I know we've said that is really starting to show now in a lot of cases.
Yeah,
but
it
it's
really is.
it was never fighting that battle. So I think it'll endure for a while. Yeah.
It might be until 24 as well, where we can actually get all the semiconductors that they need to properly get the sales they want. So it might take still another couple of years until we're even in a good position with that stuff, let alone any
It's
desire
like
about
old
wanting a new
David
console.
Falk considered that, isn't it? It's like he considered all these things when he speaks. James, so 2023 then, yeah?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I wonder, if they've sold 93.8 million now, I wonder if they're going to overtake the PS2, and it'll end up becoming the best-selling console of all time.
I don't know. I think the PS2
lifetime?
was still strong towards the end, wasn't it? Because of the DVD, because of that DVD, and also
Bloody
they were
love
still
that DVD.
releasing some strong games. So
And the DVD.
yeah, exactly. So Matt, you haven't put a year on it.
I'll say 24. Yeah, I think that's sensible.
Okay, all right. Everyone's got a mix for James.
Did you know if you
Rebel.
search for PS2 and on Google and it comes up with Sony PlayStation 2 and it comes up with user reviews, it's currently got 4.5 stars, the PS2.
Okay.
And the top review says the disc tray does not stay in closed by itself. Perhaps the hinge came loose when I turned it upside down and set it on my floor, even though I did set it down gently to disinfect it after I received it.
So is that the Edge review?
So there you go. If anyone's
Was that
thinking,
Edge or-
anyone's
What
thinking
was
of
that
buying a
written?
PS2, bear that in mind.
What date?
This is from 9 months ago.
That's why he was disinfecting it.
Yep. Makes sense.
Before he had COVID on his PS2.
But yeah, imagine if it was like 10 years ago and it's just like, I just like to disinfect stuff. Never know,
Yeah,
do
it's,
you?
good. It's a good way to be, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Alright.
how many PS2s were sold? 150 million? About that, wasn't it?
155. Yeah, it's 155 million.
I don't even... I mean, I don't know if this is going to
So it's
catch
what,
it.
it's
I
like
mean,
60 million off
You don't
that, innit?
even what?
I don't think the Switch is going to catch it. Like, what
I
made
don't
the
think it'll catch
PS2
it.
so good towards the end is that they were sold for like 100 quid because, hey, you know, cheap DVD player. I don't see Nintendo keeping the Switch as like a low-cost alternative when there'll be like a Switch 2 or whatever. I just can't see it
But
happening. It's
that's where
different
the
times.
Switch Lite comes in, though, isn't it? Because the Switch Lite, they could just cut the price, you know, start selling those a lot cheaper than they are.
We'll
already.
see.
True.
We'll
Yeah, but
see.
you know what
it's
is
Nintendo,
interesting?
they won't. I mean, the Switch Lite in itself was only like 20 quid less than the main one when we thought, hang on, are they going to do a 150 quid Switch? And then wasn't the case.
What is interesting, the PS2's best ever selling game was GTA San Andreas, fair enough. 17.3 million copies, which is obviously loads, but hasn't Animal Crossing done like twice that?
Yeah, it's done way more than that. Yeah.
It's just interesting, isn't it? The difference. Like a
Yeah.
Nintendo
Yes.
console will fucking shift Nintendo games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're the only games on it.
Well, it's also
True
this
that.
is what's weird though, isn't it? Because you've got like 93.8 million of these, and like EA won't touch the console like at all. Like they won't release
Because
anything
no
on
one
it.
buys their games on it.
But why?
Yeah.
Why
Because
is that,
their games are played online.
yes, that's,
But yeah, their games are playing online,
With
or they are
graphics.
big showpieces with good graphics.
With
So-
any graphics.
Yeah, it's not their target audience, is it?
Okay. The next
I'm
thing,
sorry, have I just given you a good? Why do you? When I give you a good point, why do you just sound really dejected and move on?
Well, it's fine, isn't it? I mean, what do we say? Do we say that's a good point, David?
I mean, yeah.
Yes,
Be polite,
please.
wouldn't it?
I mean,
Okay, I'll do that next time. I'll do
Did they
that.
bring out Knockouts? Did they bring out Knockout City on?
They did. I believe they
Yeah, I
did.
thought.
Did they?
Yeah, that's the sort of game that they will bring to that.
Mm.
But
Yeah, they
even
can throw
then,
that
I
out.
reckon it doesn't really make a dent in. I'd like to see the percentage of people that played on each system because I guess at online competitive games you got the lower resolution plus the fact that the online's pretty crap on that system.
and
Yeah,
no frame rate. I mean, in answer to your question,
I don't know if
it
it
surely
is
have to be Xbox because that game's on Game Pass, wasn't it?
It
So
was.
you
It
would
was
think-
free on everything for a little bit, wasn't it? A couple of weeks.
Oh, right, yeah. I forgot
It's
about
been
that.
It's
Yeah.
free on
It's just been
PlayStation
added to
now.
PSN, yeah.
Oh, has it?
Yeah, PS
Cool.
Plus at the moment. Yeah, go on then.
I don't know. So just before we go on, in terms of sales, you say if EA don't change, we'd never find out. But I would bloody love to know how many Legacy Edition versions of FIFA they're selling because they obviously don't give a fuck. They're not even trying. They'll release another Legacy Edition every year, but they must be like, hang on, we don't have to try, and we're still selling a million
Yeah, I
copies.
bet they
or whatever.
still sell a lot.
I would love
There's
to
still
know.
a lot of people that only have that console in their house for their kids
Yep.
and think, yeah, I'll play a bit of FIFA.
And
Yeah.
there'll be a lot of people who are, like every year they've got a Switch. Oh, what's the latest FIFA? Like it won't necessarily be people like rebuying it every year, but there's enough Switches out there that there's enough people
Yeah.
to just buy it once each year. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's EA
And
laughing.
really,
Like,
they
don't
should
have
be
to try.
calling it FIFA Legacy Edition. That's it. They shouldn't be calling it FIFA 22,
No.
and then on the back it says this is a Legacy Edition because they know.
Also, the game hasn't changed in 3 years or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Pretty
All
shocking.
right. Okay.
Whatever.
Okay, Nintendo have also said that they're going to improve and expand Nintendo Switch Online. So now there's 32 million people are now disappointed with Nintendo Online, and like that's like as of.
As in, wait, what
is that?
So that was just editorialising there,
right?
But it's
So you can't just drop a stat in like in the news, and we go, "What? How has that come about?" No, I just made it up. You can't do that, James.
Oh no, the number will be
No,
real.
not exactly.
I assume that's
No, you can't, James.
I can do whatever I like.
No, you
Jesus.
can't, mate. You can't drop in
That makes
facts
two
in
of
the
us.
news. We could get done for that.
Don't be stupid. I'm editorialising.
Well, no, Nintendo can't prove that 32 million people aren't disappointed.
Editorialising is when you sort of contextualise or attempt to explain things using your own knowledge, not just making things up.
James is going full GB News, isn't he?
Yeah.
He belongs on that channel.
Yeah.
I see him signing up soon. Go on, James.
Yeah, so that's as of September this year. So 32 million people are disappointed with Nintendo Online as of September this year.
saying
Double
it.
down.
Absolutely unbelievable. So is that the number of people who are subscribed to it?
It is, yeah, and
Right.
this is up from 26 million people last year.
Oh well, there you go.
So
it's the strategy's working.
How
More,
right,
more
you're
disappointment
saying,
this year.
you're saying, Matt, you're saying that Nintendo can't prove that 32 million people aren't disappointed with Nintendo Online, right?
Yes.
That's fine, but the way James has worded it, only one person needs to say that they enjoy Nintendo Online, and then they can sue us.
Yeah.
Because James is literally saying everyone that's got Nintendo Online is disappointed with it, which, you know.
I'm sure on some level they are.
I think it's a great service.
Okay, just stop it.
And
now,
that's what our
James,
questionnaire
seriously.
will say. Are you on some level disappointed with Switch Online? Yes. Thank you.
Got him.
But yeah, so they said that they're going to improve and expand it, but they haven't explained at all how they're going to do that. But they've said they're going to, so great.
Well, there we go then.
And I, for one,
They
believe
also
them.
said they were going to add games to the fucking Nintendo app, and they never did. Like, seriously, what? They took games away from it. What a weird service that is.
32 million people, that's decent, isn't it? It's something like, well, 1 in 3 people have paid for their service. That's decent considering you don't really need it because there's no online games.
Considering there's no
So done
point.
well.
Okay. Bong. Seth Rogen Donkey Kong solo movie is apparently in development.
Cool. Good.
I like this idea. Why not?
Yeah.
More Nintendo films. I'll take that.
Yep.
I mean, we're all waiting for a Zelda one, right?
Kirby, mate. Give me a Kirby film.
Kirby's not got much character though.
I want a Kirby film, and I want him to be played. I want it to be live action. It's not CGI. It's not animated. I just want a person.
What, like the Pokemans one,
Yeah.
where they all looked a bit odd and scary because they tried to be completely realistic.
But whoever plays Kirby, they're not allowed any makeup or anything. There's no suit. It's just
okay,
it's just
cast them now.
It's just a
It's got
person.
to be Chris Pratt, isn't it?
I don't think he's.
Yeah,
I don't think it would work.
I mean, Steve Buscemi.
Steve Buscemi, you'd nail it.
Steve Buscemi
yeah,
as Kirby.
he'd be a good Kirby.
Yeah, I'd see that. I see that. Yeah.
Flying around
yeah,
on a little star, loving it.
No, we are waiting for a Zelda one though. That's going to happen now. I think. If the Mario one's a
amazing.
massive success,
What tone do you take with the Zelda movie, though? Do you do it serious?
you'd have to aim
Green
it
Knight.
for older kids.
You reckon?
It would have to be for older kids rather than like you couldn't do. Well, excuse me, princess. You couldn't get away with
why
that
not?
now.
Why not?
Whose
That was
accent's that?
Sorry, is it? Are you furious with the way that the country's going?
I can't believe you. Yeah, everyone turning heel on the fucking classic Zelda cartoon.
No, I reckon they take it like really seriously.
Yeah,
They tell the story of Breath of the Wild, but they take it genuinely seriously. I think that could be amazing.
yeah.
I'd love that. And then they do all the Nintendo games, apart from maybe Still Diver, and then they bring it together in one big one, like the Marvel films.
Maybe they do like a Zeldaverse with all the different
Zeldaverse.
all the different links.
Yeah, I'd watch that.
All the
Yeah, fuck
Zeldas.
it, I'll watch that.
There's
Team
no date on this yet, like when this is going to come out, but there is a now confirmed Donkey Kong theme park expansion coming to Super Mario World at Universal Studios.
Nice.
Oh my god,
that's-
why don't you just...
That's due for completion in 2024, so maybe around then would be a good time to
Just
release something like
how
that.
about we bring one over here? Build one in Sutton. There's loads of places you could flatten here.
I'll work
I'm telling you,
I mean,
Nintendo,
all
if
of
you're
it.
listening. Oh, were there?
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. Fuck it. Fuck my career in the bin, and I'll go and dress up as Mario.
You'd be
and walk about
Mario,
the
I'll
park
be
going,
Yoshi. Who could I be? Who would I be?
I ain't sitting on your back. I've told you hundreds of times before, Sean.
Not even
I'm
if
not
we're paying
going
you.
to do it.
Yeah, how many times?
Okay,
Sean, are you
I'll
gonna-
do it.
Okay, cool.
Okay, I will do it. Go on.
I can't remember if this was a confirmed news story, but I saw something about Nintendo saying that it's going to take one step at a time. Like they're not going to throw loads of things out there. They'll do one thing and then move on to the next one, which I think makes sense. But what that does also mean is that it's going to take a while until they get to the good stuff, like Zelda.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, the Mario one's going to be amazing, I reckon.
Oh, no,
I don't care what anyone
that's
says.
going to be I can't see it being anything other than incredible, basically.
I know. Go on.
Okay, so Ubisoft employees have launched a petition seeking more public support for improved working conditions. So this is following on from the open letter that was published in July earlier this year, and that they've argued that Ubisoft's actions have amounted to empty promises. And so this group is called A Better Ubisoft, and they've made this statement where they said, 100 days ago, we signed our open letter and set out 4 key demands. None of our demands have been met. So today we're launching a new petition, open for all our supporters to sign. So the key demands are stop promoting and moving known offenders from studio to studio, team to team with no repercussions. This cycle needs to end. We want a collective seat at the table to have a meaningful say in how Ubisoft as a company moves forward from here. Cross-industry collaboration to agree to a set of ground rules and processes that all studios should use to handle these offences in the future. And finally, this collaboration must heavily involve employees in non-management positions and union representatives. And so they also added, they said, only yesterday, Activision Blizzard had committed to increase their number of women and non-binary workers by 50% and to invest $250 million to accelerate opportunities for diverse tales and to release annual salary transparency reports. And basically they're saying Ubisoft aren't doing much. Yeah, there's not much going on.
Not only that, that stuff isn't... Okay, that stuff is stuff that everyone can be improving on anyway, right? Mm-hmm. But that does not relate to the abuse that are being, put out there. Mm-hmm. So it's not we're doing this. Like, that doesn't help what's happened in the past. Look,
yeah, like saying like, but we've got a target to hire more women and non-binary people. Yeah, so they can all continue having a shitty time. Apparently, like it doesn't like the hiring target is sort of meaningless, isn't it? Like.
In any way, and you're listening to this podcast, then I feel for you, my heart goes out to you, and I hope something comes of all this. But it's distressing to know that the Ubisoft were one of the first companies where these allegations and all this stuff started being published in a large scale way, right? Yeah. Or not one of the first, but they were a high profile developer and publisher that was being exposed for this stuff, and they've done the least amount of work to address it.
It's shocking.
Like
there was
publicly,
a thing,
and by the sounds of it, internally.
Yeah, there was a thing. It was about a month ago where staff were saying that basically. In instances where they've continued to speak out because the abuse and harassment etc. is still ongoing for like many of them, and they were getting emails from HR saying like, "Oh, can you come and talk to us about it first before you go to the press?" No, clearly HR has failed, and that's why people are going to the press about it. Like, and it just sounds like an attempt to continue silencing workers and survivors. It's just really shit.
Yeah. They need another big exposure, I think. Because this isn't going away. The last couple of times they've done it, well, the first time they've done it, they put out a separate video as opposed to putting it into their main video, and then last time they just didn't even address it. So
they're clearly still hoping it's just going to go away. Solidarity with the people who are continuing to fight this, because it's really shit that they're still having to do this. Like, you would think that, when, as you say, when this all first came out, there'd have been like a collective, like, fucking hell, we've done it, we've raised the issue, everyone's talking about it, like, something's going to get done now, and it fucking hasn't. It's just, absolutely shocking.
I mean, also, I was reading today, like, Ubisoft are losing quite a lot of workers as well. Like, people are leaving, obviously, and so they've said they're increasing salaries in, like, I think in Canada they're doing that. But it's like,
it's not the problem.
There's reasons why people are leaving.
Yeah. And it's like,
not
and
just
on the
money.
one hand, again, respect to the people who have left, but also they should not have had to. Like that, most of those people who've left, it will not have been an easy decision. And hopefully that they've left because they found work elsewhere and somewhere where they're not getting treated like this. But also, they should never have been put in that position. Do you know what I mean? So,
yeah, it's shit. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Netflix's new mobile game service is coming. So this is the Netflix for game service has launched on Android. So they've got 5 games so far. There's Stranger Things 1984 and Stranger Things 3. This other game called Shooting Hoops, Teeter Up, and Card Blast. And all of the games are free of adverts and in-app purchases. Do you want to hear the quote, what they said about it?
yes, please.
Okay.
Go on.
Whether you're craving a casual game you can start from scratch or an immersive experience that lets you dig deeper into your favourite stories, we want to build a library of games that offers something for everyone. More games are on the way, including they bought Night School Studio recently that did Oxenfree.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, they're producing something, so that's going to be happening. Then they wanted to say, we want to design games for any level of play and every kind of player, whether you're a beginner or a lifelong gamer, and we're just getting started. We're excited to continue improving our mobile gaming experience and adding to our entertainment offering in the months ahead. And there's an iOS version of this coming soon at some point. Although I've heard that it's going to be organised differently, because I think at the moment with this, I think it's done through the Netflix app. Like you can, on Android, like you go into that and then you can download or play stuff through that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with iOS, apparently there'll be like games that you actually just download like through the App Store, probably because of some.
I'm surprised Apple are letting them do this because it's a direct competitor to their own thing. They're usually dead against this stuff.
Maybe
aren't
that's
they?
why if it's on iOS
Weird.
and it is like that where you have to download it through the App Store, they'll just say it's no different to just downloading other games. It's just that Netflix is the publisher. Instead it's I don't know. It's rather than going through the app.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just Googling these games and I literally can't. I mean, Shooting Hoops is too vague to be able to Google it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Teeter Up, I'm getting nothing. Well, I don't know what any of these.
Is it through the app, Sean? Like
I was just
Android?
Googling to find out anything about them. I mean, I checked my Netflix app on my Android phone and nothing's coming up gaming wise. It's just weird. I mean, Stranger Things makes sense, but the others feels very much like, right, what can we just sort of put out and see if it works? Do you know what I mean? It's not like a big.
Yeah,
it's not like a
feels
big
like they're
launch.
testing stuff out.
It's not like a statement of intent. Here's the sort of thing we want to do going forward. It's very much just like, is this all right? Does this work? Does everyone use this? Like,
Well, these are also the games that they released in like beta in other territories. Like they did this already, like elsewhere, I think, to test it. Whereas now it's like globally, so it's like let's test it around everywhere and see how it goes.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. I mean, I'm not exactly rushing out, but it's interesting that this huge company is trying to investigate how gaming could kind of could combine with the stuff they're already releasing, and as TV movie stuff. But I'm not exactly rushing out. But who knows? I mean, maybe they'll just throw some money into it, and a good game will come out of it.
Yeah, maybe.
Especially with the Oxenfree devs.
I'd still be keen to see them do more of the interactive fiction stuff that they've done a bit of. I can only assume, because there hasn't been a massive amount of it, I can only assume it costs quite a lot to make, and the viewing numbers probably aren't there to justify it. But I don't know. It'd be cool to see more of that rather than just another way to play streamed games on my phone, because I've got options for that already.
But these aren't stream games, though, are they? These like fully downloadable games.
Oh right, okay. Oh, sorry, I thought it was all just done through the Netflix app, so I assumed it was streamed.
But I think you can download them through the Netflix app or something. I don't know.
Right.
I mean, I'll be honest, I have no idea how this works. Cause,
okay.
It's we'll find out. Anyway, Square Enix have said that Crystal Dynamics were the wrong fit for Marvel's Avengers.
Ouch.
This was the president Yusuke Matsuda, and he said the company needs to learn from the game's disappointing performance. This is what he said. He said, "We overcame a variety of unexpected difficulties in the final phase of the game's development, including needing to transition to work from home due to the pandemic. We were able to surmount these challenges and release the game, but it has unfortunately not proven as successful as we had liked. While the new challenge that we tackled with this title produced a disappointing outcome, we are certain that the games as a service approach will grow in importance as gaming becomes more service orientated. How we go about creating new experiences by incorporating this trend into our game design is a key question that we will need to answer going forward." But yeah, and then he also highlighted the fact that they're saying that they need to better match development studios with game designs because it didn't work in this case.
Or just let Crystal Dynamics make a really good action game and don't fucking force them to put the fucking games as a service shit in it. Yeah. Like, that game did not need any of that stuff, and I still think that's why a lot of people were put off, because like they probably would have spent, you know, 35 quid on just a decent 10-15 hour action adventure game.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the knowledge that it was like, oh, it's supposed to be like Destiny, well, I'm not really interested in that. And it didn't do any of that stuff particularly well, as far as I can remember. Like, you'd unlock like new gear for your character, but none of it changes your appearance or anything because they want to sell you costumes on the side. And shit like that. It just everyone can smell the fucking cynicism on it.
Yeah, I was so disappointed when I heard it was games as a service. I was like, a single player Marvel game. I mean, I love Spider-Man. This looks like it might be alright, but as soon as you hear games as a service, you're like, nope.
Exactly, and none of this is the game's, or I would imagine Crystal Dynamics' fault. So it's very strange.
Yeah, and I mean, we don't know whose fault it was, but at the end of the day, if you're the publisher, don't talk about your devs like that.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? Like, it's what a shitty thing to do.
I mean, they specifically say, don't they, James, that it's basically because Crystal Dynamics have not done a games as a service game before. But then, it still feels like they're throwing them under the bus,
that's not the headline that's come out.
Yeah.
That's not the headline that's come out, is it? Don't throw... what a weird approach that is.
I mean, the other thing that annoys me a little bit with this is where they say, we are certain that games as a service approach will grow in importance as gaming becomes more service orientated. But it's like, that's because that's what they want to happen. But it's like, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like we desperately want that to happen.
And it's just really short-sighted because, like, so I mean, you know, Square Enix, so Final Fantasy, for example, like, you've got your big proper Final Fantasies, which are these, you know, fully enclosed single-player adventures, and then you've got your Brave Exvius on your mobile phone, which I believe makes a fucking shit ton of money. So it's like, just keep it like that. Fucking keep them separate. Yeah. You don't have to merge them. And that's what Avengers was. It was them trying to combine the two, and it didn't work. And again, it's not that the game isn't enjoyable. It's just, I think it reached too far with the games as a service stuff, and that threw people off.
I mean, it was the cynicism of the games, of like attaching games as a service to Avengers, because it's like they obviously saw it as like, Avengers is massive, everyone loves that, ka-ching.
Yeah, let's just rinse it for all it's worth. Yeah.
It's just
and like Matt says, it could have been a Spider-Man. You know, isn't Spider-Man supposed to be in it by now? Wasn't he supposed to be?
It's coming in the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
It's coming very soon.
Fine. I mean, Avengers is on Game Pass now. I don't know if you've seen, and I believe it's series enhanced as well. And part of me is like, do you know what? I could have another go on that, because I played like a bit of it on PS4. Because honestly, you'll play it for like 3 hours and be like, what was everyone's problem with this? And then you'll dig into the menus and stuff, and it's like, well, hang on, why is any of this in the game? Like, it's not like all the the RPG stuff. It's just not really necessary.
See, I played it a bit when it was on PlayStation Now. You know, they had it on there, and it was like you could download it. So I played it. Played the downloaded version, and I played it for about 3 hours or so, and I thought, this is pretty fun. It's a Crystal Dynamics game. It's well designed, and it's it feels nice and all that. But just didn't go back. Okay. Next story is that Metal Gear Solid games are being pulled from sale because of the historical footage that they use, and it seems that Konami...
I read into this.
I
read into this. A little bit of a non-story, isn't it? They're obviously the lapsing copyright issues with footage in the game has forced them to take it down, but they're actively trying to get it back up again.
Okay.
So... It's all about ownership of those and trying to... Yeah, they put a statement out, didn't they, saying, look, we're working hard to try and get these games back up again.
It's not just, sorry, that's
it's not
it,
bitter.
good night. Like,
it's not that, no. No.
Yeah, because I mean, this. Go on, sorry.
It's probably one of those things where it sounds ridiculous, but it's probably somebody forgot. Yeah, that they had
genuinely,
to do this.
yeah.
I know it's either that or they can't find who actually owns that stuff, which is always possible. Know, footage libraries and stuff change hands, companies go under, people buy stuff like that. It's finding specific stuff like that because we're talking historical footage, right?
Yeah, which is usually held by archives. But then that also sometimes rights and change for that as well. It can be difficult.
I think it was because I think Kojima had the admin password, and then when he left, they were like, no, we can't log in to renew it. So who had that? Was it? He wasn't Hideo, was it? Fuck, we didn't get off him when he left.
Try she breathes through her skin 47. Try that.
Yeah, try
we're in, guys.
But yeah, I mean, it's good that they are trying to sort it because, I mean, there have been enough examples of, licenses lapsing and games just fucking disappearing. There was, Outrun 2, can't buy that anywhere anymore, as far as I'm aware. The Scott Pilgrim game disappeared for a long time until they managed to fight up to bring that back, but that was about 10 years or something. You couldn't get that. Grand Theft Auto 4, they didn't pull the game, but they patched it to remove some of the songs because the licenses on those lapsed, which is really shit because then it's like you're not able to play that game in its original form, really, or not online anyway. So it
doesn't make that much of a difference, though, does it? To me,
that's not the point, though, is it?
I know it's not the point, but I look at GTA and I think I couldn't name you one track that was on that soundtrack. And then I look at what's that?
Goodbye Horses. It's fucking tune.
Okay. And the other one was what was it? The other one, Metal Gear Solid. I don't remember any of that footage. It could pretty much be anything they could replace it with. But Crazy Taxi, for example, the music is very linked to that game. Yeah. So I get that side of things. Yeah. But okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm most interested about these GTA remasters that are coming, because obviously they're out in the next week or two. I think 11 days. And I don't think we've seen a track listing, have we, for that game? So very interesting to see what's actually still in it or what's new.
I want to know if they're going to change anything to remove some of the stuff that is really...
I was going to say, because there was a story about this a month or two ago, about the GTA 5 reissue. Obviously it's getting the next gen version, and there was I can't remember which group it was, but they're basically asking for there's a transphobic joke in GTA 5, and I think it's one of the the companies in the game that's like a shitty pun. I can't remember what it was, but it's just like a logo on some vans and stuff, and they're basically asking for that to either be removed or do the sort of the Warner Brothers sort of disclaimer that they have in some of their older cartoons, where it's like, look, there's stuff in this that does not fly now and shouldn't have then, but we're presenting it in its original form. And it was interesting because, again, there's the argument. It's like, but once you start doing that, you then you're opening the door to other changes being made, and then maybe at some point the original games are no longer available in their original form, right? And is there the potential that we're going to lose things by doing that? But then also it's like, well, they acted quickly enough when the license ran out on some of the songs, and then just patch that out. So maybe take out the shitty transphobic jokes.
Do you remember the ending to GTA 3?
Never finished. Well, never. I barely played it. As discussed.
I'm not going to tell you the ending to GTA 3 here, because there's going to be people, I'm sure, that are going to play it when the reissue comes out. But I'll be really interested to know if they change that.
Okay.
I didn't think they were changing anything, and people not for the reissues anyway, not in terms of content.
No, I think, and to be fair, I think that, whether you call it noble or not, but I think the better thing to do is, as Sean says, have that disclaimer at the start and say, look, we're not proud of this, but we're presenting it in its original form because, warts and all, it's our history.
Yeah, and this is the thing, with the GTA 5 thing, it's like, they weren't asking for, cutscenes to be changed or dialogue or story elements or anything. It was just like, look, there's just this one name of this company. Maybe just fucking get rid. That's not as big a request as, say, change the ending.
Yeah.
But, it's interesting.
Okay. Konami have delayed eFootball's proper launch until spring 2022.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So
this is bad. This shows how much of a state that game is in, right?
So version 1 was supposed to come out on the 11th of November, but it's now been postponed, and the mobile version of the game has also been postponed until spring next year.
It's not the fact that it's been postponed, is it? It's the length of time it's been postponed for.
Yeah.
Like, that's the craziness.
They've also pulled the premium player pack from sale as well, because apparently if you wanted to use it, then you had to have version 1 for it to work. So, if anybody had bought it, it wouldn't have worked anyway. And people have been refunded for that, so that's good. So, I mean, as we know, it launched in the limited form because it only had, offline 1 versus 1 or online 1 versus 1, and that's it. And then the first major update was supposed to add, creative teams and, a whole... contracts, which are loot boxes and stuff, and a load of other online creative leagues and tours and stuff like that. Yeah, and that didn't happen. I mean, here's the quote. They just said, "We have been working diligently towards distributing an update that will bring new content to the game, including a new mode where you can strengthen and play with an original team, as well as support for mobile devices on November the 11th. Unfortunately, we have concluded that more time is needed to deliver the products in the quality that will meet the expectations of our users, and have decided to postpone the delivery. We sincerely apologise for this inconvenience this causes our users and our other stakeholders who have been looking forward to this title." And then they also said that if you had pre-ordered the premium player pack and you want to continue playing eFootball, you need to delete it and then re-download the game, because apparently it won't work now after that, because of the fact they've refunded this other thing, and they just said we apologise for the inconvenience about having to do that. Yeah.
Christ. That's a right state. FIFA needs a proper competitor at this point.
Yeah, and it's not eFootball.
Doesn't look like eFootball.
It'll be very interesting to see what they do between now and spring, though, to see if they actually come out of we've heard all the feedback. This is it's not just, hey, this is 1.0 update. They're really going to just work on it for, spring? That's April, May time, isn't it? So they've got 6, 7, 8 months. Maybe they'll come back with a totally different game.
See, fucking Cyberpunk's had a year and a half, mate.
Why not just wait until next year? As in, wait until the next, next season or whatever. Just write this year off and then just work on it and make it really good.
Well, I'm assuming money might have an issue with that. Investors might have a problem with that.
They're expecting some revenue, aren't they, through the door?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, okay. Last story is that 800,000 people are playing Forza Horizon 5. It's actually more than that. It's close to 1 million people are playing it, and it's not out yet. So to do this, you have to purchase the premium edition, yeah? And then you get early access and also future DLC.
Yeah.
You can either buy the premium edition, you get it 4 days early, or you can buy the premium pass. The premium pass is spoilers, what I did and what Sean did. And that costs £36 for Game Pass subscribers, 40 quid for non-Game Pass subscribers. The premium pass, you basically get everything you would get in a premium edition, but crucially you don't get the game because the game is on Game Pass, so you can't need that.
It puts you in that weird area of owning DLC for a game that you technically don't.
Own.
Which, with this being Forza, that's not a worry for me. If it was, I don't know, fucking Outriders or something, it's that's not going to be on Game Pass forever. But with this being a first-party title, I wasn't worried, and I think Matt and I were in the same boat. It's we're probably going to want the expansions anyway, so why not just pay for them now and get the early access?
Yeah, I thought for 36 quid, the premium pass getting it 4 days early, you get the 2 DLCs, you get a bunch of other welcome packs. I presume you would have ordinarily had to bought them separately.
Yeah.
You got loads of stuff. So, and I was like, well, I'm probably going to get DLCs in future anyway, and I get to pay early. And 36 quid was okay, that's. You
see, I kind of, in terms of the extra cars and stuff, I kind of put that to one side because that I sort of felt but they could have just given us that anyway. That's not. Do you know what I mean? Whereas at least the DLC is that's definitely something substantial that definitely takes a lot more work, and especially, and we know, obviously, as it currently stands, we don't know what the DLC is going to be, but based on previous form, they've always been not just substantial in terms of
at
the
least
amount
one
of
of
content,
them's always been brilliant.
Exactly, there's always been something that's a real novelty in terms of the the theme or the environment or whatever. So. Yeah, really excited.
As I said, I hope they go Lego again. I really do.
I don't think they'll, man. I don't think they'll repeat.
Where do you go from there?
I don't think they'll repeat one. But yeah,
I don't know.
If they're staying with toys, what else? Imagine if they were just like, oh, it's Matchbox this year.
Yeah, but then that's too close to Hot Wheels.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, just be like, oh, well, that's shit, guys.
Scalextrics. What if it's Scalextrics ones?
Yeah, and you don't have to steer anymore.
Yeah,
Bonus.
yeah.
But no, this is interesting because it represents a way that Microsoft might now start using more to get a bit more cash out of the game.
I think
Game Pass,
absolutely
subscribers, and it's worked. And not
What
only
if
has
they did
it
a
worked,
Banjo-Kazooie one? Oh my god! What if they did a Nuts and Bolts one? No, seriously, that's
never
genuinely
gonna happen.
possible.
Nah, that's never
Why
do that.
not?
Too much for costing the streams. I think that's too much.
Why not?
I think
they're
Rare
not
are
crossing
busy.
any streams. It's all owned by Microsoft.
Yeah, I know, but like, okay, Hot Wheels, that's massive, right? Like, everybody knows
Yeah,
Hot Wheels.
I get you.
Yeah.
Banjo is not massive. Like, not.
It's not massive, but imagine. Come on,
I mean,
building
I
imagine
your
it.
own
love
and
Nuts
shit.
and Bolts. It was a brilliant game. It was very, very good. But, I don't think many people remember it, like, in a big way.
Plus, it wasn't. I mean, there was some racing in it, but it wasn't a racing game, was it?
Okay, let's have proper predictions. Go on. Let's have one proper prediction for at least one of these packs. Sean.
I wonder if I was going to say I don't think they will because it'll upset too many people. But then Lego and Hot Wheels did, so I wonder if they'll do like a proper Monster Trucks expansion.
Monster Trucks.
That would be great. Yeah.
Matt.
Maybe I think a flying vehicle one. I'm gonna say flying vehicle.
That's well. Okay, I'm gonna go planes then. I reckon planes. Yeah,
Right.
I reckon they'll take to the skies in one of the DLCs.
Yeah,
I just
I
got a
reckon-
feeling.
I reckon flying vehicles covers that, but yeah, planes. You're right. I don't know. Sorry, Dave. Do you mean planes a Pixar license?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I totally
Specifically.
mean that.
Fuck! What if it's cars?
Okay,
Like,
that's
what
my
if
choice.
it's-
I
That's
hope
my
not.
guess.
Oh, right. Oh, James sitting back and then taking the good idea that Sean comes with.
I mean, Isaac could lose his fucking mind. So yeah,
Yeah,
fine.
I would as well.
Yeah.
I like it. Go on.
But yeah, it's very interesting that this has worked. I think the timing of it was curious because if it had been that the game was out on a Friday and it's like, hey, pay up and you get it on Tuesday, I think people would have been like, whatever. But I think the fact that it gave you that weekend with it before it came out. Do you know what I mean? I feel like that was like a really significant difference.
I mean, you're saying words, but all I'm doing is being angry that I didn't say cars. That's all that's going on in my mind at the moment, Sean. Is that it for the news,
I
James?
think this is interesting, and I think there's already rumours actually last week that there will be like a potential Halo kind of early access thing. I think maybe something was leaked. Anyway, they will absolutely do this for I think every game. It makes sense.
Yeah, it makes
I mean,
a lot of sense.
I
Yeah,
mean,
totally.
I have Game Pass Ultimate, and for a long time, people are like, "Oh wow, it's always like Xbox games you don't have to pay for getting." Obviously, we have paid for Game Pass Ultimate to get to download these games for in inverted commas for free, but to be able to play these games early, and it's not just early. It was like the fact that you get DLC. I was like, well, I might as well. But I think if Halo do it, if they do one for Halo Infinite, I'll probably do the same thing. So this is getting people to pay 40 quid, 35, 40 quid or more if they get the premium edition of the game.
But then would other
top.
games be able to get away with it the way Horizon 5 has? Because for
Halo
me,
would.
the decision was
Yeah,
based so
Halo
much on
definitely.
previous Forza.
Halo absolutely would.
Yeah, it would.
But then
Well, I think
people
any
haven't
kind
really
of
liked
major
the last...
first-party Xbox game.
Yeah, but people haven't really
It
liked the
doesn't
last
matter,
few
mate.
Halos, have
It
they?
doesn't matter. Halo's
Okay.
going to be a big deal when it comes out.
Oh yeah, people will
telling you.
want early access on multiplayer. Yeah, that is a guarantee. Even before this, I thought they might have done something like that. I see some people kicking off about this, and I can see their point. I mean, if you go to the Xbox store, like it basically implies that the game is actually already out. It's like, play now. It also says, day one on Game Pass. Day one is it's Tuesday as you're listening to it, so it's yesterday. I think it came out on the 9th. But this is basically just, isn't this not just making
Yeah, it's
everyone
not
say,
really
look,
day
if
one
you want
on
to play
Game
it
Pass,
now
is
with
it?
everyone
It's
else,
Day
you
4
want
on
to play
Game Pass.
Oh, come on! I'm not falling
No,
into that trap.
I don't care, but I understand.
People fucking moan about everything.
But it
Go
very
on.
much is, it's playing on the whole FOMO thing, not everyone's talking about on the timeline, like it's out, even the Xbox store, like, play it today. It's like, well, I've got Game Pass, it's day one of Game Pass. No, play it today. Oh, what do I have to do? I have to pay 36 quid or 85. It didn't bother me, but I can see why people
Wait
would.
a few days. Jesus, it's fine. It
I mean,
really
to be
isn't
fair,
a problem.
like if if you were feeling, a bit of FOMO, believe me, it's outweighed. And I'm not having a go at anyone who's listening to this, but I've spent a lot of time this weekend explaining to people why I'm playing Forza 5 early. Because so many people are like, oh, what? I didn't think it was out until next week. I'm like, yeah, just buy the pass. So, yeah, maybe it's not been communicated all that well. But yeah, I mean, are we going to seamlessly go into what we've been playing?
No, because he's got Farley's Fantasy Zone.
Oh,
hasn't
shit,
he?
we've got Fantasy Zone. Shit.
Yeah, I've got.
Go on then.
Okay. Fantasy Zone. So anyway,
We're in the Fantasy Zone. How you feeling, Sean?
A bit wobbly, but to be honest, like my
Really?
my atoms might all sort of just dissipate and fucking, I don't know.
And you seem to have just pissed yourself as well.
Oh god, not again.
That's classic
That's
Fantasy
embarrassing.
Zone side effects.
Oh no, wait. Oh no, did you piss yourself before entering the Fantasy Zone?
You pissed on
No
the way.
comment. No comment.
God, James is your
Okay.
name.
So anyway, there's a French magazine called Rockstar Mag,
Oh yeah.
and they have a section that's called True or False. You see,
Oh, here we go.
There you go.
Go on
and
then.
there's somebody there who apparently has contacts and insider news about Rockstar games, and
Okay.
like for the last
Okay.
15 years has come out with things that have happened or whatever. And then he has said, "I think this week something interesting will arrive."
This week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, some people
Okay.
are saying that could refer to the trilogy that's coming out, like the
gonna say.
remastered trilogy.
Doesn't realise they actually announced it, and it's all.
He's got it right in the past so often because he makes his predictions after Rockstar announced something.
But then also, it could be something else, maybe. We don't know. So there's a rumour that there may be something, Rockstar may announce something this week.
Okay,
Exciting.
there we go. Keep your eyes out, and if you've nailed this, James, if this Farley's Fantasy Zone comes true, and we will know by the next time we record, then oh my god, you have just gone up in so many people's estimations.
Because the other
I've never
rumour-
heard this.
The other rumour, James, the other Rockstar rumour recently was about them saying, oh no, I guess it was just rumour, they wouldn't have said it, about, the next thing they'll do is they'll do a remaster of Red Dead after this. After the trilogy.
I was going to say, I thought you were going to mention that earnings call where they mentioned that they've just sunk like 53 million on something they never announced and isn't happening now.
We don't know what
That
that
was weird.
do we? Yeah.
No idea.
That was a
But
bit
we,
weird,
but we
wasn't
can just imagine, and that isn't that the point?
It was yeah.
All right then. Well, if you see
Agent.
any Rockstar news, then please tweet James Farley and say your Fantasy Zone is fucking great. That's what I want to see. Right, is that it for the news and your Fantasy Zone?
That is it, yeah. That's all done.
Good. Let's go on to what we've been playing, and we'll start with the big release this week. It is Forza Horizon 5. Now, Matt and Sean have been playing it. James and I haven't. I'll explain why I haven't later. Matt, James, no, Matt, Sean, what do you make of it?
So before we start, I've played about 5 hours or so. My Xbox app says it's about close to 10, but a lot of that was on pause. So how much have you played, Sean?
Do you know, in terms of hours, I'm not sure. I think my level is about twice yours at this point. A lot of
shit,
this
really?
is,
I'm level 40, so you must have really
right, no,
hammered
hang on, mine hasn't updated then. I thought you were like 20 odd. No, I think we must be about neck and neck then. A lot of this is because Isaac loves it, and he's been getting up way too early, as we've mentioned on previous shows. So I've been playing this a lot from like 4:30 in the morning. Until it's time for someone else to look after him.
Wow,
so yeah, I've been getting
lovely
quite
stuff.
a few hours in. It's great. It's fucking great. It's
the least surprising thing
this
I've
is
heard
it.
all
Yeah,
year.
it's like, yeah, of course it is. Like, what do you want? I mean, there's nothing about it that's like, whoa, holy shit, what a shake-up for the series. Like, it's all pretty much exactly as like what you would expect and what you would want. But
so you've got if you've not played this game before, it's a open world driving game where essentially you're driving around. There's challenges everywhere as you're driving around. But also, you stop off, you do races, you do tours, you do these things. Are barn finds in it?
Yeah, barn finds.
It's my favourite thing.
It's this bizarre setup where...
that's always good, though. Do they lean into how stupid it is?
They do, they really do.
Because they did on the last one. It's so good.
Again, for those who haven't played it, the idea is that it's this festival, the Horizon Festival, that just sort of gets dropped into different places on the planet. And for some reason, you're either... I think in Forza 3, you were the organiser, but you were also taking part in all the races and winning all of them, which is weird. And then in 4 and 5, I think you're just sort of mates with everyone who's organising it, aren't you? But yeah... It
really is. When you think about it, it's so horrific.
Oh, it's absurd.
A driving festival being dropped into a country without them wanting it, and you just rip their place to shreds. Yeah. Driving through fields, breaking things, smashing up trees. Like, it's outrageous. And you should think about the locals just going, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, because especially like in this, because obviously there's some like just really tiny villages and stuff, and you're just like, hey, fucking smashed your fence down. Oh, there's a bonus board in your back garden. I'm going to fucking drive through that in my Porsche. Like, but I mean, whatever. There's a couple of bits.
It's rich people just like.
Well, you see, this is the thing. It's sort of there is a quest line in this that sort of addresses that, where you find this.
Don't tell me that. Okay. Yeah, I want to. Okay.
I won't get into that stuff. But it's just. It perfectly rides the line between being a quote unquote proper racing game and an arcadey one. Like if you want to drive a Ferrari across the desert, fine. Like it's not the most efficient way to drive across the desert, but the game will not penalise you for doing so. If you want to like do the entire game, like if you find one car you like at the start, you can pretty much do the entire game in it if you want.
Yep.
Like every race you set up, you pick your car, and then every AI racer is just given either the same car or just one that's like the same class and the same sort of category as the one you're driving. So it just customizes everything for you, basically.
Yeah, I was really thankful for that because they were like, there's daily challenges as well, and one I think like this week's like, there's weekly like things to do, and one of which is like, hey, use a certain car for all this stuff. And I was like, I'm going to get absolutely trounced, but no, all the other cars in the races were of similar kind of quality. So
it just brings everyone to your level, basically.
Are the movie missions back?
Yes, they are.
Oh, fantastic! Because he was, that character was great.
The director,
those missions were fantastic.
I think single play. I like. So they have like done. I think it does feel a bit more varied. So you have the career mode is called Horizon Adventure, and in that there's like 6 different styles of racing. Basically these like 6 different ways you can play it. Basically, there's main stage, which is all sorts of big sort of bombastic races. There's road racing, dirt racing, cross country, PR stunts, which is like kind of again like big kind of crazy races, and then street racing. And as you go around, you kind of like earn accolade points for doing things in races, winning races, or like getting a certain amount of like clean racing bonuses, whereby you don't touch someone during a race, or drifting, so on and so forth. And as you earn these accolade points, those basically this like meter fills up on screen, and when that fills up fully, you get the ability to open or unlock one of up to like 4 separate events in each of those 6 categories I just mentioned. So if you just like street racing, you can just basically just play street racing stuff and open all street racing events and keep doing that until you get to the end, really. Whereas if you want to do everything, you can do that. But it means that if you just like a certain particular like style of car or style of race, you can just focus on that, which I think is really cool. And if you want like the silly stuff like the PR stunts and other kind of story based missions, then you can focus on that as well, which I think is really cool.
All of that was in the previous 2 though, right? None of that stuff's new.
It's more sort of formalised, like Matt was saying. So for each of those sort of disciplines, there's like a ticket with like 3 or 4 like stamps on it, right? So so as you earn points, like Matt says, every so often it'll be like, right, now pick a new thing to unlock, and it'll either be like a new like chain of missions, or it'll be like one huge like showcase event, or whatever. So those things were were always in the game. It's just the sort of the way you go about unlocking them is different now, and it does feel cool.
Rather than you going across the map and doing little bits, you can just focus on sticking on that one like channel of events, basically.
Yeah,
you can still do all the things
It does sound like it needed that though, because I haven't got hardly anything to complain about with the last Forza or the last two Forzas, Forza Horizon games, but if there's one thing that I think they could have improved on is to get rid of the map full of icons with no real direction in where to go. And it's cool that there's some freedom there, and it's just like, well, do what you want. But at the same time, it's like, okay, but I also want to know how to progress. So the Lego expansion pass did a much better job of that. It said, look, here's a big grid of these Lego bricks. You collect Lego bricks to progress through the game, and here are challenges, here are what you get for doing races, and so on and so forth. So there was a progression system, or at least a way of knowing how to progress to the next part, whereas that was kind of missing from the main game. So it's good that they formalised that stuff.
Yeah, because as Matt says, it's like every time you do an event or whatever, there's this bar that's like, here's how far you are to getting the next stamp on one of your tickets, basically. And it doesn't have to be like, if you do a bunch of street racing stuff and then you're like, actually, I'd quite fancy doing some Baja racing or whatever, well, fine. Then so when you do a load of street racing, get your next stamp and then put that on the Baja ticket and get a new big Baja event or whatever. The showcase events are absolutely phenomenal. I mean, they always have been. But yeah, there's some fucking brilliant ones here.
Yeah, the opening to the game is basically that video that they put out on. It's one of the most recent Xbox conferences where they showed you. It's like a 10-minute video, and that's the first mission. But it's so exhilarating, and it's the same kind of way they've opened up previous Forza Horizon games where they're like, hey, you need to get to the event, and then you do this and you race there, and it's like the music swells and you basically ultimately reach the festival. But yeah, I won't say all the things that he does in this intro if you haven't already seen the video, but it's really truly exhilarating. And then you've got first time seeing this game, which looks absolutely gorgeous, and you can't help but feel pumped when you're doing that first mission, entering the game essentially, because of all the cool stuff you've seen. Oh my god, I've missed Forza games so much. Just feels so cool. No other racing game is doing this kind of stuff, and it is an amazing way to start the game.
Yeah, because it opens as they have for a while now with sort of I was rolling my eyes a bit, it's all the quotes about it represents the ultimate freedom and I'm all right. And then 5 minutes later, I'm just I am driving so fast that I'm having an emotional reaction to it. It's absolutely absurd. That intro section, and then and as I say, the big showcase events, which the fact that there are events in a driving game, and yet I wouldn't want to spoil them for you. That's the level we're talking about, just how cool these set pieces are.
I've already done a few. Sean, have you finished any of the main Horizon Adventure sections, like dirt racing or road racing? Have you done the final one of any of them yet?
I've done the final of the Baja ones.
Okay, right,
great.
I mean, it's basically a massive race. And I've done a couple where you the two I've done. One is basically essentially around the entire map, and lasted about 12 minutes. The other one was it actually felt like it's just 2/3 of the map, but it's much more winding. That took me 15-16 minutes, but they're absolutely amazing too, because you're racing around this entire huge environment, no loading, obviously, and it's just a really close race. Again, it looked gorgeous, it sounded gorgeous. It's just an amazing 15-16 minute race around this amazing environment where you basically see every corner of the map.
I was going to say, there's this
from
weird
deserts to beaches to forests to
because it covers so many different types of environment and terrain and stuff. It's just you do a 10-15 minute race, and it's I've just been all around the world. This is amazing. It's just it's unbelievable.
So in addition to the Horizon Adventure, there's also the festival playlist, which is the other kind of big section on your main menu, and that's more kind of the online element, where there's daily challenges, and it's not quite a battle pass, but you are basically earning points by doing loads of random little things, and those ultimately allow you to reach certain totals to earn cars, basically. But it's not quite so prescriptive as a battle pass, where there's like 20 or 50 different things you can earn. It's just, I mean, at least the one so far, there's 2 cars you can earn if you get, I don't know, like 15 or 24 points or something. And then all the things you can do are like, okay, there's 5 daily challenges. It could be, get some clean racing bonuses, which, as I said earlier, is where you, during a race, you won't touch other players, other cars, get some of them, hit a certain amount of stars in the jump, that kind of stuff. But then there's also much more in-depth things, which I don't think they're classed as dailies. These are just other things you can do within like the season, I guess, or I think it is seasonal based, and those are things like they get you to play specific modes. There's a bunch of different online modes, or different races, or using different cars, or certain cars to do certain things. So again, that's something else that you can play along with if you just want to kind of play more online-y stuff to earn cars, to earn bonuses as well.
It's strange that stuff is in there pretty much right off the bat, because I think Horizon 4 held that off, didn't it, until you finished the campaign, and then it was like, right, here's all the seasonal sort of ongoing stuff.
I quite like that, because I think for people who just want to do that and don't want to do that, the kind of main game stuff, if I want to call it that, I think it's quite nice. You also earn, but in those festival playlist things I just mentioned, you earn Forzathon Points, which are like a separate currency, and that you can buy things in the Forzathon shop. The shop's not currently open. There's just an error, so I assume that will kind of properly open on Tuesday when the game's out. And I think you can buy cosmetics and, I don't know, maybe cars, I don't know, but ultimately there's like another currency which you can earn to like buy things as well in the game, which is quite nice.
Yeah. I mean, if you're listening to this and thinking, what the fuck, this sounds like way too much, don't worry about it. Like Dave was saying, this, you end up with a map that is just littered with icons, but I mean, for one thing, you can filter it if you want. So if there's like a certain, style
we're doing a lot of filtering.
But equally, it doesn't make me feel like, it's not like, I don't know what they're like now because I haven't played one for ages. But in Ubisoft games had that really bad reputation for just being like, it's a shitload of icons, and it was like there's this implication that's like, well, you better fucking get them all. Like, it was like a checklist that you had that you felt compelled to do, not because it was enjoyable, but just because there was a checklist. Whereas this is just like, I don't know, it's just like a fucking massive buffet. Like, it's just, there's just like, yeah, look, just here's a load of stuff. It's all good fun. It doesn't really matter what order you do things in or how much of it you do. You pick and choose if you want, or just constantly do whatever you're nearest to next. It doesn't really matter, and it's beautiful, like how well that works and how you can just find your own way through it, and just everything helps with progression. Like, it's just not really an issue.
Most of it I kind of ignored, really. Because I just want to go through and play street racing modes or straight this or that. I mean, the only thing I've really paid attention to on the map and filtered is I've been enjoying collecting all the XP boards. There's just basically, I think there's like a couple of hundred of these like just basically random wooden boards in the environment. You smash through them, you get XP between like 1,000 and 5,000 XP, and they're all in like a lot of them are in standard places. You'll drive past them, you're like, okay, I'll stop, reverse, and I'll knock through that, and that's that. But then now I'm finding actually there's some on top of buildings, and and I'm like, how do I even get up on there, because the cars don't jump
almost.
So I'm like, okay, I guess I'm gonna have to go to that nearby mountain or something and go really fast and like launch myself off to land on it. So I'm going around and collecting the XP boards. There's also these fast travel boards where I think there's 50 of them, and I can't remember what happens I don't know what happens if I get on him. I assume I can just fast travel anywhere.
You can, if you hit a fast travel board, you can fast travel to that point. However, there is a house you can buy that just lets you fast travel anywhere.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's like 2 million. $2 million bucks,
I'm assuming you could buy more houses, because you could buy loads of houses.
I think there's 7 houses. Each one you buy, they come with a bonus. As Sean has mentioned, one allows you to fast travel anywhere. Some gives you like a wheel spin. Wheel spin being it's a little thing you can spin, and you can win a car or credits or
a hat,
XP and whatnot. So they're nice little bonuses to get you new stuff. But I think there's 7 properties you can buy, each one around, all dotted around the map. Different bonuses and stuff. I think we haven't really talked about how it looks, and it looks,
oh my god, absolutely
stunning. And I know we point out a lot on, particularly when we're playing kind of new games on new hardware, but oh my god, it just does look like another level. There are 2 graphics modes, at least on the Series X. There's performance mode, where you get 60 frames, but I assume slightly less detail, not quite 4K, or you can go full 4K, slightly better graphics, and 30 frames. I tried both. I'm definitely in the 60 frames camp. I think the 30 frames one, I actually don't think it wasn't night and day difference between 30 frames and 60 frames. I think, but 60 frames just feels really nice, and they both look great. But whatever, there may be like significant differences if I saw them both side by side. But I'm very much happy with 60 frames.
Play for a fair few hours at 60 and then switch it to 30, and then you'll be like, fucking hell, how does anyone play it like this?
That's what I did.
Yeah, possibly. I basically went out to 30 for like 5 minutes, and
so I'm obviously playing it on the Series S, and it's same deal basically, but performance mode is 60 frames at 1080p, and quality mode is 30 frames at 1440. Again, I think you'd be insane to do the quality mode. Like it still looks so good on performance mode and runs flawlessly. It's stunning, isn't it, Matt? Like visually, it's just absolutely unbelievable.
You do like there's like huge jumps, these danger signs that are dotted around the map, and ultimately there you burst through them at high speeds, and then you often just jump off a cliff or whatever, and just like everyone, I feel like I want to take a screenshot of when I burst off this mountaintop or through the forest out onto this like open plain, because the detail is just something else. It just it looks absolutely stunning, and I'm even now. I'm like, it still looks amazing when I'm like bombing down the roads, and when like the weather comes in, if you're going through a storm or if it's just raining really heavily, it looks amazing. I'm so impressed with how it looks.
Really good to hear that it sounds like it's running well on the Series S, because it's
incredible. And, I mean, to be fair, like watching some of the comparisons and stuff, fucking looks all right on the original Xbox One. But on the Series S, it's just another like, holy shit, how was this console only £250 moment?
It's locked. I've watched a little bit of the Digital Foundry video. I'm sure it says like it's locked to 60 and locked to 30 for either console, depending on the modes. It's not even like there's like dips or anything. So
it's absolutely.
It looks good even on the other hardware.
I mean, a minor technical moan. Tried to do some multiplayer last night, and again, so you can go into events. And then invite your friends in, but you can form a convoy, which is just driving around the map with your friends. It was easy enough to join each other, but whether or not we would actually appear on the map was really flaky.
Yeah, I've heard there's issues at the moment. I think it's just early days. Teething problems.
That's all it is. It was weird because we did a bunch of events and it was fine. Had a good time doing that. The arcade stuff. Where you can be driving around the map, and if you're in an online session, which like by default you are, it doesn't really matter whether you are or not. If you're not intending to play with other people, you can just ignore them. But it'll do these things where it's like, right, there's an arcade event going on, drive to like this one spot in the map, then everyone sort of meets up, and then it's like, right, and then it'll sort of give you like somewhere to drive, and then there'll be an objective when you get there. So it might be like, look, here's a stretch of road, everyone do a shitload of drifts on it, get like X number of points doing drifts together, and then it'll drive, say like, right, drive over here, and do just like get like a points for doing drifts or smashing into things or jumps or whatever. There's also one, I don't know if this is new, I never saw it on Horizon 3 or 4, but sometimes it'll tell you to drive to an area, and then it's just like a series of like tiny objectives. So it'll just be like, go 60 miles an hour, stop for 10 seconds, like do a drift, and or take a photograph and stuff like that. It's just proper good. So that's really good fun. And then last night, so we had a good time doing some of the events and stuff, and just like driving around, and just like showing each other like cars we'd unlocked and what we'd done with them and stuff. And then we spent ages just the barn finds, which again, if you haven't played one of these games before, there's these bits every so often where it's like, look, we've heard rumours that there's like an old barn in this area of the map, and it's got a knackered old car in it, but if you find it, you unlock it and it gets done up. And they're weirdly good fun to find. So now, once you've found one of these barn finds, you can go back to the barn and leave a car in it for someone else.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's a really nice idea. It's like you don't get, as far as I can tell, you don't get anything for it. It's just like...
Does it come up on your screen that such and such has got your car?
So yes, I believe it does tell you when someone gets your car.
Nice.
And I think they can give you kudos for it. I don't know what you can spend kudos on. Kudos is what you get, like when people like, like if it's like an event you've created or a skin you've done for a car or whatever. So I think you get kudos for gifting people cars as well. But yeah, it's just a nice thing. We were just like, right, well, let's just buy like some shitty old cars and then upgrade the fuck out of them and put a cool paint job on them and then just send them off. It's just weirdly enjoyable to do.
It really helps, I guess, with like trying to collect. If you've got loads of, it's basically like swaps, really. If you've got swaps of certain cars, you can obviously sell them and get money for that to help buy other cars you want to buy or in the auction house. But
isn't there? Yeah.
Yeah, but if you don't want that, you can like gift other players cars, and like you don't have to leave them in those barns. You can, but I think it's gift a car anywhere really, and you can like then when you go to gift a car, you can select a car you want to gift. Mm-hmm. You can like say whether you want them to know your real name or your gamer tag and you can so on and so forth.
Because nice. You can choose like, right, I want this to go to new players or players who've done loads of community challenges or whatever as well. There's like little sort of criteria you can use, which is really cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I think gifts on new players, because I think that's like a nice little touch.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
One question with the music in the game.
Yes.
Do they have a radio station like for local music?
You see, I've been wondering about this. So I mainly just listen to Pulse, like the default one, and I haven't looked into it, but I've been hearing some Spanish, so I assume that they have sourced like local artists for it. But I haven't
because they didn't do that. Well, not that I'm aware of. They haven't done that before. But I'd love if there was one station just called local radio, and it had smaller, lesser known artists from the area that the game's set in, with like a DJ that was furious that this festival had been landed on them. I just think that is such a wicked way to like bring it all together. Yeah. So hopefully for the next one. I think that's such a cool idea because it's a way to promote the local culture. Mm-hmm. It's a cool way to get some gags in there about how it's a festival just dropped on a place without their consent.
I think it,
and all that sort of stuff.
But does it work better that it's just a total fantasy and you're not? I don't know, because like there's a bit where
they've made jokes about it previously.
Yeah, there's an event where you drive to like an old Mayan temple. That felt a bit icky because you sort of like you're just driving around and there's like little objectives to complete and stuff, and you're just like, it just feels really wrong being here in like a stupid car. Well, because it's like this ancient monument, but then it sort of tries to address it like when you leave, like your driver talks now. By the way, I think that's new.
That is new.
That is new. Yeah.
No, it's not new. I think they had that in 2.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember. I might be thinking of test driving Unlimited, but go on.
But yeah, and your driver sort of says like, anyway, come on, like this place is better off without us, and it's like, yeah, but you did just place a massive radio beacon in the middle of it, mate. Like this bit. So that felt a bit strange.
That stuff I think is all funny.
Yeah,
I like all that stuff.
I still don't think the soundtrack is that great. I mean, the soundtracks on previous games have been okay, and this seems okay. I mean, I enjoy Pulse, I enjoy Radio XS, which is like the rockier stuff. Mm-hmm. And Hospital Radio, like drum and bass stuff and jungle. It's fine. I wouldn't say it's got a stellar soundtrack. You can also like use Spotify as well.
I was going to say, if you turning off the radio and just putting Spotify on instead a few times. But
yeah, but they because it does cool stuff with music at the end of races and stuff. Like it picks out a certain part of the song.
And there's the thing.
And actually, I do another thing in this. I think it's called like skill tracks, whatever. Yes. Where every now and then what they're called, Sean.
Is it? I think it is just skill songs or skill tracks, whatever.
Yeah, skill songs. Where every now and then, like the radio DJ, will say, "Hey, this is a skill song."
Oh yeah, they've had that before.
Okay, for as long as the track plays.
Well, they say for this track, then you've got to do as much damage, or you've got to do.
Oh no! For this one, it's just basically as long as the track lasts, you have everything's double like points.
Oh, that's it. That's it. Yeah, that's what it does. Yeah, no, I did that in the last one.
Yeah, good fun.
Cool. I can't wait to play this.
I'm really surprised you haven't, but I think I know why. But no, it's really like super addictive. I wish if I hadn't been busy this weekend, I would have just played this non-stop. Really.
For those of you that know me, you know how many hours I put into these games. Like literally hundreds of hours into Forza Horizon games. I love them so much. That I thought, well, I was getting a code for the new Call of Duty game, and that was arriving on Friday, and the early unlock for Forza was on Friday. So I thought, if I unlock that game on Friday, I am not going to play Call of Duty until next year, and I can't do that. So I thought, no, it's coming out Tuesday, I'll play it Tuesday, and even now I'm thinking I'll leave it to the weekend to get at least the Call of Duty campaign out of the way, and then because I know once I start that game, the obsession will start again. I'll be on it a hell of a lot.
I played a fair bit of 4, but I wasn't like mega super obsessed with it. But I really liked it. It's clearly an excellent game, but I feel like I love this one more than I have previous ones, and I guess that's all I want to play and do. One final thing, you can create online clubs. I've created a TCGS club. I'm not really quite sure what the club does yet. I would assume if people join it, we can all earn points. I don't know, but I've created a TCGS club if you want to join it.
Nice.
That's it. No, there's lots of things to try. I haven't tried out like the event lab stuff. We can create community mode events where I've seen like videos of people doing bowling and all sorts of stuff. I haven't tried out Super 7, which is like there's like you complete 7 different events, again created by the community. It feels like there's absolutely tons of online stuff and cool stuff to play with that I haven't really explored yet. But no, so far so amazing. What a game. James, are you interested in this at all?
I'm interested. I mean, see, I'm not a massive racing game person. Like, I'm not. I mean, I really like Mario Kart, and that's about it, really. But I have enjoyed in the past, like Project Gotham Racing and stuff like that.
You were a big fan of Burnout Paradise.
Burnout Paradise, I really like that. I thought that was great. And the Horizon games are always the ones that I know that probably I would like the most because they're more like arcadey,
definitely.
Yeah, gotcha.
Which is what I'm really more into. So I'm gonna play this because it's on Game Pass.
This is gonna blow your fucking mind, James, because like previous years you've been like, I don't see whether they come out all the time. But you sit down and play it, and you're going to be like, whoa, wow, right, I get it now. I'm telling you.
This is probably a game that I'd recommend to people who don't say, I don't really like racing games.
Yeah,
I just feel like most people will get something out of this.
Mm-hmm.
It's got like fucking stupid concept supercars in it, but if you see a car that you remember your dad having in 1982, you can do most of the game in it. And it's great. And you can put a stupid paint job on it and a spoiler on the back. And it's just, I love it. And just the variation in the environments is just such, like, that's the real takeaway for me from this, like, over, like, I loved 4. And I love the fact that it had places that I recognised in it. But just, the sheer diversity in the environment in this is just absolutely stunning.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
This doesn't have seasons like 4 did, but then the environment's so diverse, I don't think I'm going to miss it too much. And like the weather effects have been amazing. You drive through a massive storm or for a massive, like, loads of rain. Like, I've seen thunder and lightning. All that stuff looks awesome. And finally, on the online stuff, I think you can get up to 12 people in a convoy. So I'd love to see how many people we can get together online to see what.
That'd be ace.
See what stuff we can, do together.
Just a quick shout out for the character creator as well. Obviously, I've just made standard bald white man with beard, but there are tons of options there in terms of there's all like prosthetics that you can give your character. You can choose your pronouns, you can choose your voice, but like the voice isn't gendered. Just loads of really smart, inclusive decisions. It was just really nice to see.
Yeah,
cool. The other big game was Call of Duty this week, and that's what I've been playing. Not as much as I'd hoped, but I mean, It's funny. I went into this with low expectations. There seemed to be a buzz around how. Well, there seemed to be a buzz around how little buzz there was over it. You know what I mean? I'd seen articles being written. The advertising was very strange for it. Literally, 5-second adverts that showed nothing, basically. And I was starting to worry that Call of Duty was taking a brief year out before they bring Modern Warfare back, which I think we're all expecting next year. But this is Vanguard, and it is set in World War II, and I sat and I read the reviews about the campaign specifically, because that's where I've spent most of my time so far, and they all said that this is a run-of-the-mill, colour-by-numbers Call of Duty game, nothing to get excited for. And I don't know what they've been playing, but I have been absolutely loving it so far. Like, genuinely. I can't remember a Call of Duty campaign where I cared about the story and the characters. Like, even Black Ops, which was, is sort of raised as a story, is pretty good. Even that, about halfway through, I was completely lost and didn't know what was going on. Something to do with numbers, I can't really remember. But this one, the way it sets up, so we're going to specifically talk about the campaign here, and I'll explain further why maybe you shouldn't pay full price for just the campaign if that's all you're interested in. Yeah,
because I mean, just before we get into it, I really have a hankering to play a Call of Duty this year, really pretty much only for the campaign.
Yeah, see, because this is the thing, right? I think so far I'm just over halfway through the campaign, I think, and I have been pretty blown away by the set pieces. Now, when you do boil it down, you're doing normal Call of Duty stuff, but I don't think anyone's going to be playing the campaign to Call of Duty expecting it to be revolutionary in terms of gameplay. Like, the gameplay is running through levels and shooting bad guys and moving on, and it doesn't really stray from that. What it does do is, for starters, the story's really interesting, in my opinion. You've got a team of people at the end of the war from various different nationalities. They're at the end of the war and they've been captured by the Germans, right? And the Germans find out that, the Nazis find out that that they are on a secret mission to expose or find out details on how the Reich is going to continue after the end of the war, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what they're trying to expose. Then they get captured, they get chucked into a cell, and then you play missions based on each one of those characters and how they got there from this point. So that way it can just pick out random battles throughout World War II, place the characters in them, and let you play for a mission. And it's been pretty amazing. I've seen the set pieces are absolutely incredible from what I've played so far. And look, don't get me wrong, you've been playing this as well, James, right?
Yes, I've played a little bit, yeah. Not as much as you, but I've played some.
That opening mission on the train, were you sitting there by the end of it going, oh no, this is why it's not very good, because this is just, I'm walking up a train, I fall off every now and then, and just respawn,
and it's like
and I'm just being shot up a train,
like all over the place. Yeah. Where is this coming from? This just feels like a bit of a chaotic mess, like, because
that one's round the corner of that carriage, so I'll walk in, they'll just shoot me with a shotgun and I'll die. So next time I'll go in looking right and shoot them before they shoot me. Like that, it was real sort of poor quality COD stuff, and I was expecting that throughout the whole thing. The next mission, you jump out of a plane, land in some water, you've got no weapons, nothing, you're creeping through a forest, and that whole mission is fucking brilliant. Like, it's one of the best COD missions I've played in ages. Really engaging, really nerve-wracking. Are you running around and going outside the mission area, or is it very linear? It's very linear, but I kind of expect that at this point. They tried to do more open world stuff before, and I appreciate them trying that, but really I'm sitting down to play something that looks incredible, plays well enough, and honestly, the audio design is unbelievable. Are you playing with headphones, James?
I am, yeah, and yeah, you're right.
It's fucking incredible to listen to, isn't it? The campaign specifically I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. It's it's blown me away as a sort of, yes, very directed, very straightforward COD campaign, but the stuff that you want it to do right, it absolutely nails. The set pieces, the sound design, the gameplay, the graphics.
It's the
absolutely stunning.
Feel of the weapons as well. You know, it's like they all feel like really solid, and
I mean, the one regret I have is not playing it on PS5, where, you know, after playing Deathloop a lot, you do kind of get used to that sort of adaptive trigger stuff. And then going back and playing it on a normal pad is kind of like, oh yeah, no, that does add something actually, doesn't it? But really, you know, you get over that within 5 minutes once you start getting used to playing it. But yeah, really impressed. I don't understand where these reviews are coming from saying that this is bog standard and, you know, a bit dull. Because
most of the reviews been like 7 out of 10s. I haven't actually seen any.
Well, I mean, look, this is what I'm coming to, though. You know, you can't look at the review scores and think that reflects what the campaign is, because ultimately, when it comes to COD, the campaign is a very small part of it. It's a big thing for, say, myself and James, because we always play the COD campaigns. But on the grand scheme of things, it's what? I've read it's like 6 to 7 hours worth of gameplay compared to, you know, obviously the focus is on the multiplayer because that's where the money is. That's what the majority of the players are buying that game for. You know, looking at the review scores specifically and comparing it to thinking it relates to the campaign it's a stupid thing to do. But when you read the reviews and they're saying, yeah, there's nothing real interesting here,
it's kind of dismissive, I disagree. Isn't it? It's like, it always felt like the reviews really feel kind of dismissive of the campaign, as if like it's not really, doesn't matter, you know.
Whereas actually, if this was 15 to 20 quid to just play the campaign, then I'd say go for it, because my word, it's really good fun. Some of the voice acting's a little bit off, but you'll allow that for, you know, like some of the battles are better than I've played in a COD game recently. So yeah, I'm really surprised by the lukewarm reception to the campaign, because I think it's been absolutely fantastic so far. I think really good.
Maybe part of that is because it's that sort of like, oh, it's World War II again and all that, and it's like, but I don't understand that. I never understand that, because there's interesting stories that can be told in that environment, and the weaponry I always find very, like, it's very enjoyable to use.
Yeah, I'm with you actually. Like I've always had a fascination with elements of World War II, and so I've always quite enjoyed World War II games. And it has been a while since we've had a good World War II campaign. I mean, they did a World War II one, a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that was all right.
It was Call of Duty WW2, wasn't it? They did, which was that also right. Sledgehammer as well. I think it's the same studio.
Hold on, did that have a campaign?
It did.
Was
yes.
that the one that didn't have a campaign?
It had a campaign, but it wasn't a great one, but it wasn't awful or anything. It was just fine.
I don't remember it. I remember World at War was really good. Mm-hmm. We enjoyed that, but again, that had a lukewarm reception. But that was at the height of the sort of the genre being flooded with World War II games, you know, or at least at the end of it. But it feels like it's been a long enough gap to go back to it. And I think, yeah, there are moments in it where you go, this isn't very respectful. You know what I mean? Like the bit where I saw someone cowering in a trench saying, oh, you know, clearly having a meltdown. And you go up to it and say, get up, soldier. And then they immediately stand up and go, yes, sir.
Yeah.
And then off they go again.
It's like and you're like ordered to do that as well. Like it's like it's an objective.
Yeah,
like,
that was a bit weird. Yeah. And there's some stuff in the level set in Russia that I kind of think, is this a bit of an outsider's look at what might have happened? Because it certainly feels like that. But
I was going to ask, is there a controversial moment in this that you've seen so far? Or are they playing it safe?
No, because they never really did that. Not purposefully did that in the World War II games.
Not really, no.
That was a Modern Warfare thing.
That was it. WW2 ended in a concentration camp, didn't it? And I thought that was a bit odd. Like, I don't think that was particularly well handled. Whereas here, I think there's a scene where a lot of innocent people die in this. But, you know, you wouldn't say it's controversial because, you know, that's what happened. that was kind of, I think that was handled a little bit better. But yeah, you got to look at it. And apparently some of the, I've not looked into the history of it, but some of the characters in the game are based on real war heroes, stories of war heroes back then. So I think, I don't know, it doesn't feel too disrespectful at this point. The only part of the game that I haven't really enjoyed is that there is a mission where you're flying, and it is not very fun to play at all. The flight is very very not on rails, but it feels even more limited than the multiplayer mode of Star Fox. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Where it was like, okay, you're in this very small space, and if you go outside, it just pops you to another area of the map or whatever. It doesn't quite do that, but it does flash up. You're leaving the mission area. What are you doing?
Okay, so it's not quite Battlefield in that regard. No,
it's nowhere near that. But then, I can't remember the flight missions in the Battlefield campaign, but when I sat down and started playing this, I thought I want it to be a few things. I want it to be stunning to look at. I want the set pieces to be great, and I want it to feel like a COD game. And it's nailed all three of those for me. Like I've really enjoyed it. As for the multiplayer, I mean, we've played a few. This was weird. So James and I played a few multiplayer games with Ian, and we just played amongst the three of us, and it was like, oh my god, I've not done this in a COD game for ages.
It was great though.
Usually
it was very enjoyable.
You squad up in a COD game, and then you go out and join a team and play against randoms. Like, that's what you always do. But limiting it to just the three of us walking around these maps, like, it was really good fun.
Yeah, because you got the tension with it. Because that's right. Because
it's not going off every 5 seconds. You're staying alive for a long time, and you're trying to guess where everyone else is. It's mate, I've not played a multiplayer game like that for ages. I had a right laugh. Okay,
it was good.
Okay, James.
No, sorry.
Okay.
I was yawning at that moment, and yeah.
Oh, cheers, mate. Thanks. That's what you want to hear, isn't it, from your co? So yeah, I've still got to put a lot more time into it. I've got to finish the campaign, which I will do. I want to start on the multiplayer properly. Check out what this new battle pass thing is, and see, what that actually offers to the game. And sort of get into that side of things. But so far, I mean, the maps we played on when we were playing multiplayer seem really cool. The campaign I'm having a lot of fun with. So yeah, I'm quite interested in getting on board again. The main menus, though, at the moment, that's well weird. You boot up the game, you install the game, you boot it up, and the main menu has 4 Call of Duty games on it.
Yeah, that doesn't
obviously
make
for
any
those
sense.
that keep it loaded in.
It's weird though, isn't it?
Well, no, it makes sense.
I know, but it's like you just think, I just want to play the game I've bought or whatever, It's just like,
what are the
why
other
is it
games in
showing
this?
me all
Okay,
these others?
zombies, I guess.
No.
So
completely different games.
No, this is other Call of Duty games.
Yeah.
So they've got. Hold on, I think I've got them written down somewhere. It's got Modern Warfare.
It's got Modern Warfare, Warzone, and what's the other one? I've forgotten.
Can you play Warzone through this game if you have Warzone installed?
Yes.
Yeah, but then it will just launch the one Warzone that you've got installed.
Oh, right. You could play the other campaigns, so it's got Call of Duty Vanguard, Call of Duty Warzone, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, and Call of Duty Modern Warfare, all on that main menu.
Yeah.
So if you've got the campaign or multiplayer installed for those other games, you just access them through this one game. So yeah,
interesting.
I mean,
it's arguably what I should have done for years anyway. But
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it's a strange one, but I suppose if you're playing, the multiplayer of this, and then you go, I'm sick of World War II, let's move over to Modern Warfare. You just do that without even leaving the game.
Although you're definitely going to need a bigger hard drive, if you're going to do that.
You certainly are. This one's not too bad though, is it? It was like 60 gig.
Yeah, I think it's about 60. Yeah. Which is not too bad.
Yeah, which is better than the last one, which was about 130 or something stupid, wasn't it? Yeah. But Call of Duty,
are you going to play zombies or just stick to single player?
No, I've got no interest in zombies. I've never enjoyed a zombie game on Call of Duty, so I'm not going anywhere near that. So that's Call of Duty. There will be more of that because I'm going to play more of it. And that's it from me. So James, you've got a couple of games down.
Yeah, I've only got. I haven't really played anything much this week. I mean, I played a bit of COD as I said, but only like really two missions in. I finished Psychonauts 2 a couple of days ago, and I mean generally I really liked it. Although I think the only thing that I think really lets it down is the combat, which I don't think is up to much. It's not really very enjoyable. The combat side of things, but it is. Do you know, Sean, I think you said this when you talked about it before. Like, visually, it's really impressive, like, in places.
Yeah.
Like, it looks incredible, like, in some bits. And also that whole thing with, like, the portals and everything, that's pretty much the same as Ratchet and Clank. Like, it seems to be doing it.
That's what I said, yeah.
It's the same. It's doing this. I mean, obviously, maybe the areas that you're going into are maybe not as big, but it's the same concept, and it still worked really well. And the thing I really loved about it was just there was that sort of just like constant new ideas, particularly towards the end. They just kept throwing new stuff at me. I mean, I've got that bloody song stuck in my head still though. So there's I mean, I don't want to spoil it or whatever, but there is a part where there's a song which is played over and over again, which you can find it and get it and like destroy the record player that's playing it. But it does it got stuck in my head, and because it's just
totally intentional.
Yeah, absolutely, and in a good way. But then also it is a bit irritating having that. But I'd say, I mean,
oh Jesus,
it's terrible. But
they make jokes about that. Ellie, did you go back to the Psycho-Isolation Centre?
No, I didn't go back there because you said not to. Because you said it's
I know, because that would, if you've got it stuck in your head though, and the moment you lose, like you forget it, you go to that Psycho-Isolation Centre and then it pops back in, and you're like, oh, for fuck's sake.
But it's great because again, even that's a metaphor for how a character has essentially been brainwashed, isn't it? And had this sort of drilled into him. It's so good.
And it's an interesting story with that they tell as well. Like, from the looking at things from different perspectives, and you even get to the point where it's like, which of these is real actually, and all that sort of stuff, which is always like interesting. And it's just, I mean, it's just consistently sort of imaginative and engaging. And that's why I'd say that overall, I think it's a significantly better game than Ratchet and Clank. Like I feel,
I kind of agree. I mean, Ratchet and Clank looked amazing. The combat was certainly better in Ratchet and Clank, but even then, that become pretty stale towards the end.
Yeah.
Whereas this, I felt, I was always on my toes with things.
Exactly, and it's just I thought this had much more interesting things to say. I mean, I didn't feel that Ratchet and Clank really had anything to say much apart from this looks amazing or whatever. Whereas this was great. It's just the combat. That's the only thing that I really wasn't sort of interested in with it. The only other thing I played this week is Animal Crossing, because obviously the big 2.0 update came out, and also the Happy Home Paradise stuff and everything. But I mean, I haven't played very much of it. The children and Chen have played it like exhaustively, like they're fully like back in again, like in for playing it. And the only thing I found so far from like the brief amount of time that I've spent with it is it feels really overwhelming, honestly, because of the amount of new stuff that they put in there. And I mean, in terms of like, I mean, one of the key complaints that you had, David, which is completely fair, is the fact that it keeps on just like repeating, like the items and stuff that you can buy, like in the shop. It's always the same stuff and everything. Whereas now, like
always the same.
The amount of
no changes.
Whereas now there's a lot of stuff, and to the point where it's like I'm like, I don't know what I should be doing with all of this because there's just so much of it, and it's like I don't know.
It's almost as if they should have spread this out over the year, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, that is a very good point, David. You are right. Sorry, that was a callback to earlier in the episode.
There we go.
But yeah,
well done,
you're totally right though. They should have done this. Like, I don't know why they didn't do this. Like, why wait? Like, how long has it been? It's like it feels like 2 years or whatever from launch to then like release all this stuff, because it's mad. Like, just bringing it all out like this, because there's so many, like there's all like new stuff for outside and like new types of like hedges, and it's all like really really impressive. Like the amount of detail and the amount of stuff they've got there. There's all the cooking stuff. I haven't even looked at that yet. And it's just, there's a lot there. Like, there really is a lot there to do. And I'm feeling overwhelmed, and I need cash as well. Like, I need cash because the amount of things that, I need to buy now, to sort of like upgrade everything and get things like, ticking over. And I want to like redesign the island and stuff. And as I said, the children are really enjoying this. And like Chen, she spent like most of like Saturday evening, I think, playing this because she's just, she's properly into it again. The Happy Home Paradise stuff seems fine. I've only done like the initial like setup for that, and it is exactly the same as Happy Home Designer in that. Yeah, you meet like a client, and then you have to like design the home according to whatever they whatever they want, like whatever theme it is. So like the first one you get is like, I want a reading room, like I want like a reading like retreat where I can like like do whatever, and it's this like elephant, and it's funny because it's like you can like. You put down the items that you think that this person will like, and then you get like this, like the character will have like a heart will go up when it's something they like. This one, I mean, complete egotist, because I kept putting up just posters of the character, and she's loving that, absolutely loving it. Like just had like walls of just her face like all over it, and then that sort of stuff. So, but the good thing about that is that you collect all this stuff, and then you can bring it into the other, like into your main island as well. And also you can earn cash as well, but the cash is it's like Mike Ashley, you can only spend it like on that island, like they give you like a card where you can spend it on this island, but then I've apparently Asher found out today that there is an exchange rate, so you can exchange it for bells as well, so like it's totally possible to do that, but that's pretty sleazy, like this idea that like you're earning currency but you can only spend it like on the island, but I don't know, there's a lot there. I mean, it's like 48 islands or whatever that you can like decorate and do things to and all that sort of stuff. So I think, there's just a lot there. And it's one I know now that I'm going to probably keep going back over the next couple of weeks and months to play more and to do some stuff. But as you said, this stuff really should have come like much earlier than this, and they could have drip fed this like over time, and it would have been a lot more enjoyable, I think, for people, rather than just dumping it all suddenly like this. It feels like their strategy for this, I don't think they had a strategy really. I think it took them off. I think it caught them off guard how popular this was, and I mean, to the fact now where they keep saying this is the only DLC there's going to be, there's not going to be any more, and they keep repeating it's like, this is really it. Honestly, this is really it, because people obviously want more, and it just feels strange that they're just like so adamant.
Why not give it to them then?
Yeah, exactly. Like
maybe the game's not built for it, but
I think that's probably what it is, and I think that's probably what happened with this. Like they designed this because they thought it was going to be like a kind of like one and done, maybe with like a couple of like downloads and stuff like that. But it ended up being much, much bigger. I mean, I'd imagine probably whatever the next version of this is going to be, which probably won't be on the Switch, it'll be on whatever the new hardware is going to be, will probably take this into account better. But then this is Nintendo, so maybe it won't, and it'll just be the same thing again.
Yeah, it'd be exactly the same.
Yeah.
Just a quick one, like, because I'm with all this new stuff, I'm really regretting exploding our last island. The backups won't have that now, will it?
I've no idea.
There's no way I can retrieve the old island that we got rid of a couple of months ago.
Don't you have to go out of your way to back it up?
There is, there's
it does it automatically.
There is a backup thing, and you can restore from the backup, but it depends on whether that's already been overwritten by another one.
Yeah, I've got a feeling it just overwrites it constantly.
Yeah.
You've got like one slot or something.
See, Chen did this as well.
That's a shame.
She like when was it? Like a couple of months ago, she deleted the one that she created like during the first lockdown, and was like, "Oh, I'm going to start again." And then she did that, and now she just massively regrets that. She's just
So that's what I did. Yeah, I massively regret it, because I had millions of bells in the bank. Island looked good. It was all fine, but it was just getting boring. And Harry was like, "I want to play it now." So we nuked the island, started again. We've not even got the museum back. So sucks a bit.
Same thing that's happened here. Really, when I got the OLED, I was like, Elodie, you can, we couldn't move Elodie to her own one, but keep the island. So it's a good opportunity to strike out on your own, Elodie. I'll keep the island on my one because it's my island. And so she's like, oh yeah, amazing, brilliant. But now I was like, oh my god, Brewster's here, new update, but she hasn't got a museum. She's like, I really miss being on the same island as you, Dad. And I'm like, you know what, so do I. So I don't know what we're gonna do there. Maybe,
See, and
maybe she starts another character on the OLED now. I don't know, but it's not the same without her on the island, and she's got, she's barely, she's getting, earning like the basics and the flimsy tools, and it's just, not the same.
And also, like, a lot of the upgrade stuff that they've added to this, like, you need, like, serious cash, like, to be able to actually, like, buy it all and everything. It's ridiculous, like, the amount that you need.
Really?
Like, for I think I'm on the final expansion for the house, and it's like, that's like nearly pretty much $1 million bells, just to pay for that. Which is not, I mean, if you've saved, if you've done a mat and you've got, like, 20 million or whatever in the bank,
peanuts to
then
that,
that's fine. But but for, in general, it's still a lot, like, especially for, like, the kids, to do all that. But I don't know, that's part of the fun, I guess.
Well, it's not doing me. It's playing the game, going turning the turnips. You thought you playing the game.
Yeah, it's definitely doing a map.
What?
I think that's doing a map.
One of you must have a good turnip prices on a Sunday.
Yeah, but we weren't going on the internet joining queues and going to some random person's island to get the prices.
No, but I'm saying one of them four will have a good price, so you can do it in a family.
Okay.
Well, I mean, actually, I am in the turnip market again at the moment because
You've invested.
I put down a million for what's it called, for bells for turnips this Sunday, which was a massive gamble. And
how many trips is that?
About 3. Yeah, it's about 3,
Ouch.
which is annoying.
All
but then
right.
it's also, I mean, I figured because I've got a ridiculous number of Switches in the house, one of them's got to come up with something good this week.
Exactly.
Like, it's got to. This one of them's got to be
But
good.
they just said
Today I could have made a bit of a profit, but I thought, no, I'm holding off for a bigger bank like later in the week. But this is all going to go horribly wrong, isn't it? So we'll see what happens.
Cool.
James, there are
Right.
websites that where you put in your first 2 days of, like, for the first morning and first afternoon, it'll tell you where to go.
Yeah, I know. I like
And if you've got a disaster of a week on your island,
And that's not doing a map, James. All right.
it's playing it the right way.
That's what we've been playing this week. Should we get on to questions?
Yes, sir. If you want to send us a question, go to tcgs.co/Dear TCGS using Netscape Navigator. Maria Mendieta says, Dear TCGS Corsairs, I thought I would never live to see the day, but I finally witnessed someone playing their Switch at a local basketball court this weekend. Granted, the person was
Amazing.
the person was seated alone on the court and nobody was actually playing basketball, but that was the closest I've ever come to life imitating a Nintendo ad.
That's a real shame.
What is the most awkward place you would love to see someone play their Switch?
Strip club.
I don't think that'd be awkward, would it? I think everyone would just be like, "Oh, that's a bit,
that'd be pretty
weird."
awkward.
That wins. That absolutely wins. That's amazing, Matt.
Yeah.
What if you sat down in like a public toilet in a cubicle and then you heard the person in the stall next to you playing Metroid and you'd be like, "Oh, mate, where are you up to?"
That'd be pretty awkward. Funeral.
Yep.
Yeah, you could look for those little holes, couldn't you, in the walls?
You could, yeah. Like, hello.
That's what they're there for, isn't
to
it?
see what games are playing.
Called
now-
switch
now I know.
holes.
I'm still blown away that is still happening.
I've never actually. No,
You get blown away when what? Go on.
No, it doesn't fit through that. No, like I'm still amazed that I'm 38 and you're still in toilet see that someone's drilled through a hole.
I've only seen it once.
Bored through the fucking cubicle wall. And I was like, this is still. I mean, I was confused when I was like, 7 and 8, saying, what the hell is this about? But even I'm 38 and I'm like, it's still happening.
It's still happening, and frankly, it
Matt.
still doesn't appeal.
No, it still doesn't appeal. I'm still confused. What the hell?
Speak for yourself, Sean. Matt, look, we all know that you're walking out of there with your Black and Decker. Don't give it any of that.
That's my question, right? So are people just like, obviously they're not drilling because it'll be their giveaway. So what it's like they're doing a bit and then coming back next day. Like what the fuck?
You could buy the panels. Just buy the full panel with
Swap
glory hole. It's like a little tick box when you
No,
order
You
it.
probably could just use a drill, couldn't you? I mean, it depends. If it was like, because the only one I've seen is at like a country park place, right? And it's just like a. So you could probably drill that with. Like, if you went there early in the morning, no one's going to know.
I'll be honest with you, I've never seen one.
No, neither have
And
I.
this is the only one I've ever
on.
seen.
Just
And someone had sort of just stuffed some toilet paper in it, as if that's going to stop you.
You've never seen one, David, when you're younger.
When you start seeing that toilet paper rustle while you're taking a shit,
no.
you're like, oh no.
Dave, you've never seen a hole in a cubicle toilet?
Neither have I.
No.
In your life? Wow.
No.
I was very amused when I found out that glory hole was actually a glass blowing term And when
I bet they changed that, didn't they?
well, no,
It's the episode title.
no, it's the
Oh, right, they're still going.
original term, mate. It's they're
How did
taking
we
it
get
back.
onto that? From all right, all
Because
places
Sean
to
mentioned
play
about
Switch.
someone playing Metroid Dread next door, and then
Yes,
Funeral. You
Yeah,
go
funeral.
into or you're a little kid. You go, oh, do you want to see the cockpit? And they're sitting there playing 1-2 Switch in the cockpit. That's another one.
you see, funeral's not awkward. That's just rude. But maybe the wake afterwards, that's awkward.
That'd be more awkward.
Yeah.
Playing it on the TV rather than just walking in, playing it in handheld mode, then taking the sides off.
So I'm just,
putting it
yeah,
on
just
the
got
big
this dock.
TV.
Can I just connect up this dock? To the, to the
no.
TV.
So funeral, but you plug it into the sound system just as the coffin starts wheeling into the furnace.
yeah, that's what you would have wanted.
Funeral, but you're the priest.
Funeral, but you're the dead person.
Yeah, wait, you just
Buried
didn't
with
come
the
in
switch.
for
Yeah.
Yeah, as the coffin's lowering down here.
Yeah, and it gets burnt up and stuff.
See, unfortunately, that would be really dangerous because the battery would explode. Maybe, mind you, that'd be
Well,
funny.
that's
as
the
fuck,
way I
wouldn't
want to
it?
go, Sean.
Yeah, I want the coffin.
You don't know my funeral plans.
That's what I
You
mean.
do now.
Be dead.
Well, yeah.
All right, okay.
We'll make sure that happens, Matt. Don't worry.
Yeah,
One of
please
us will still be
do.
around.
Also play Nirvana, all apologies. Okay,
Nah,
next.
Nah, not doing that.
what?
You're not having that. That's not your funeral song, is it?
For hell yeah.
Really?
It's basically like, oh yeah, actually I watched it. Bye.
Apologies. Oh, come on. That's...
Definitely,
come
yeah,
on.
100%. Yeah.
Everyone's going to be looking around going, it's a bit weird, isn't it?
Nah, because that last breakdown is fucking unbelievable. I mean, to hear that blare. I mean, I won't be hearing blare because I'll be dead, but it'll be
I told you I
blaring.
once told my mums very seriously that my dying wish, if I die, I want everyone dressed as clowns at my funeral. And she went, don't say that because you got to take that back now. You got to take it back. And I was going, no, that's what I want, Mum. She was like, you can't say that, David. You can't say it. And I was like, well, just remember that. That's what I want.
What was the thinking? What? Because if for some horrible reason you died tomorrow, she would have no choice but to honour it.
Yeah,
Exactly,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. That was the thinking.
Okay, if I
right,
die,
okay.
I want everyone dressed as My Chemical Romance.
Oh, I was going to do that anyway.
Well, good.
Standard.
But I just want to see. I
Funeral
mean,
style.
again, I won't not be dead, but I want to see James dressed up as Gerard Way. Next question.
Garrison Savannah. Basically, he's asking if we're going to do a Back for Blood stream. I know we talked about it, but then the game seemed to just sort of come and go. And did anyone put any real time into it?
I've been playing it over the last couple of weeks.
I haven't played it.
And
Yeah.
How are you, James? You haven't mentioned it.
I've been playing it on Friday evening after my
With his secret
Dark Souls
club.
2 stream, yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't
Secret
like
friends.
it very much
Fair
at all.
enough.
It's,
Fair enough.
It's not very good, I don't think. It's,
Well, there's your answer, Garrison.
Savannah.
I
It's
saw
Garrison Savannah. Ba-da-ba-ba-da. Gone. Sorry, that's
there
what I
was a news
thinking
story
throughout
this
that.
week that actually Left 4 Dead 2 had more players playing it than Back 4 Blood.
Ooh, That's
a better game.
So that's
Well,
not
they
great, is
can't-
it?
They can't catch a break that lot, can they?
No.
Left 4 Dead devs.
Just
No.
stop putting
Jesus.
fucking card games in it and stuff. Like, why? That's
Oh,
what's
come on,
Oh,
James.
wait.
They need to add
Back 4
some
Blood's got
stuff.
card
Like,
games in it.
they need to add some stuff.
Yeah.
Just because you don't like it. It's not a card game either. They're like upgrades and
Yeah,
stuff.
but it's just annoying, isn't it? It's like, just stop doing that, please. Just
I know, but we're old. We remember when games didn't do that, but now all games do it. And if it wasn't there, new players would be like, "What the fuck is keeping me
where's
playing
my
this?"
cards?
Yeah, where are the
Where's
cards?
my cards? Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's my where's my cards? Okay.
Last question comes from Ryan Chow, formerly Heyman. Congratulations, mate. I believe this is marriage related.
Congratulations.
Metroid
amazing.
Dread is a hell of a title. If you could give any other series the Dread subtitle, which would it be? I mean, it's Animal Crossing, isn't it? Got to be.
Yes.
Sonic.
Animal
No,
Crossing Dread.
it's-
Getting stalked around the island by a mad robot.
I think it'd be eFootball Dread.
Really? No,
Yeah, why
I think
not?
Animal Crossing Dread sounds better. Yeah. I mean, I think you've nailed that, Sean.
Thank you.
I think that I would play that. like a really dark version of where you can use your axe not only to chop down trees but to kill the island.
Kill the other villagers.
Yeah, you use a spade to dig up graves and shit. Fucking hell, yeah.
Actually, you can actually use the pitfall traps like offensively against the other.
Yes, it would like Home Alone.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're just stuck in your house and there's people trying to get you.
Oh my god, someone needs to make this as a mod. This would be an amazing Animal Crossing mod.
Animal Crossing Dreads.
Yeah, I'd play that.
Come on,
James
Nintendo.
is furious.
Money on the table, Nintendo.
Don't ruin my paradise. He's going.
When Nintendo say, hang on, this is the last DLC. Hang on, we just heard of a great idea. This is the penultimate DLC.
Speaking of getting married, get this, just to make you all feel really old. Do you remember my wedding?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, 9 years on Wednesday.
Fuck off.
Yeah. It's bad, isn't it?
Jesus.
9 years.
Yeah,
ago.
it'll be 11 years for me this year. That's a long
I
time.
don't even remember when it was. It was ages ago.
Yeah, we don't want to remember your wedding, James. We've been over this.
That's true.
Yeah. And it's really sad, and I feel like I want to fix it, and I don't know how.
No, yeah, they need to have renewals.
Yeah,
He said to me once, I don't know if you want me. You'd be alright with me saying this. He said to me once, I don't like looking at my wedding photos. And I'm like, James,
I think he said that on the show. I think.
I think he has.
I'm fully with you. We got our wedding album back, and Jill and I were very close to tears because it's so bad. I was
Why?
I could have done better with my phone. My mate's got DSLR. We've definitely done 1,000,000 times better than this. It's devastating.
That's a shame. Did you hire someone? Yeah.
We did, yeah, but we had no money, so we're like, I've made with a mate, they've done it before. It's more documentary
Did you do it
style,
for exposure? Did you offer exposure for the?
No, we did pay them actual money, but oh my god,
should not have apparently.
Shame. But well, basically, my Chris Greenslade bought his good camera, and his 5 pictures he probably took when he was drunk were better than the entire album
Right,
of
James,
Professional.
I normally hate it when people even suggest that I might do this, but if you do a renewal of vows and we have a party, I'll do the photography, mate.
That'd be brilliant. I'd like that.
Yes.
We'll do it.
Also, another stag do. I'll say another. The first stag do.
Oh god, yeah. James Farley stag.
Do you know, I wouldn't mind doing that actually, because I didn't have one really the first time round, not properly. And
so fucking do it, man. Let's do it.
Yeah.
We've talked about this on the show. We're going to do it, James.
Yeah.
Vegas,
Lads
baby.
on tour. Lads on tour.
Vegas, baby.
James, if you're going to do it, who's your best man?
Oh no, don't make him do that.
You don't need to answer that, James.
No.
Yes, you do.
No, let's not disappoint him others, James. We'll discuss this off.
Let's face it, Dave. The answer is you, because you'll shout at him if you don't. So...
That's correct. That's correct. But also, Sean, imagine the best man speech. Oh God, it's one of those ones that I'd be excited writing.
Because didn't you write quite a lot of my best man's speech?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I mean, Sam nailed it, but and it wasn't all me. But the idea of reading out previous tweets of yours at your
yeah, that was good. That was really good.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed that. Right,
that's it. We're done.
Let's go.
Socials, yes. Thursday, Bel Shaddai is back.
Now I might be having more work done on the house. A plasterer is coming round, and I might have to move everything out of my office, but I don't know yet.
Right, okay. So, I look forward to that stream.
Question mark. Oh, I had all sorts of technical
maybe...
bullshit last time as well, but fingers crossed. If I do, it's going to be the last El Shaddai one. We're right near the end now, so I'm keen to get it finished. But
cool. So that might be Thursday at 9 or another time. Friday from 9, definitely 9 p.m. UK time. James is back for Dark Souls 2. James, you're still loving this, aren't you?
It's still going well, yeah. I mean, I did my first summon in the last game, and
you did what?
The summoning
real player
thing.
Or AI?
I think it was AI. I'm not sure because I'm never really sure how that works. But yeah, I did the first time, and yeah, it was good because they were very useful as a kind of like distraction for the boss. Who just spent the whole time attacking them, and then I just stabbed him in the back. Yeah. It's good.
That's the best way to do it. That is Friday from 9. I will be streaming Mass Effect Sunday from 8. Apologies I wasn't here this Sunday. I had a flu jab, and I'm a little bit disappointed because I thought I'm going to have no symptoms whatsoever. Jill had no symptoms, and I felt a bit rough, and I was like, let myself down there because I thought
No,
you didn't. It's just your
no,
immune
because
system.
I just
Your
thought, okay,
brain.
there's I won't have symptoms. They're like, okay, could have sore arm, could feel a bit weird for a day, or have like flu-like symptoms. I'm like, I'm sure we'll be fine. No, barely had any symptoms. Barely had any symptoms with the COVID vaccine. Probably not going to have this. And then on Sunday I was like, well, I don't feel good.
Fine.
but that is not under your control, man.
I'm not being entirely serious, but I was like, for fuck's sake, I just thought I'll be able to just get through it without even a whiff of a symptom. But yeah, at least I won't get the flu. I've never got the flu anyway, but I just thought I'd get it because that's the thing to do, right?
No, if you remember correctly, the last time you said I've never had the flu, you also went to say I did get ill once when I was a kid and I was cold and shivering. I had a high temperature and could barely move and everything was aching. And we all went, "That's the flu, Matt."
Yeah.
It could have been a cold, and I was like, who
one
knows?
of those,
you don't know. You don't actually know. It could be a cold.
Like so the ill-fated PlayStation stream the other week, and I was saying I had a migraine. I've only recently come to terms with the fact that the headaches that I get all the time are migraines. And like for years I've been like, yeah, but they're not. Like I've seen people with migraines, it properly knocks them out, and then I'm like reading the actual definition. Like, no, these are the fucking migraines that I get.
I've had 2 in my life, and they were horrific. Yeah. And I to the point where I had like burn marks on my temples where I was rubbing my head so much. Yeah, it was. They were horrible. Yeah. So people that get them regularly, I just feel bad for them. But yeah,
it's okay. Yeah, so that's the stream. Sunday, Thursday, hopefully Friday and Sunday, all on twitch.tv/TCGSco. If you miss them live, search us on YouTube and you'll find them there. If you have Amazon Prime, you're Twitch Prime Gaming. With that, go 1 free sub every single month. You can't take it with you. You can't give it. You can't keep it for yourself. You have to give it away, and we'd love it if you gave it away to us over to our channel.
If you don't, Jeff Bezos will use it to be really disrespectful to William Shatner.
Yeah. Yeah, he only uses it to go to space, so just, stick 2 fingers up him and give it to us. We really appreciate that. Yeah. Back on the Dark Souls thing, we're doing a Dark Souls rerun every Friday morning. Again, not on this feed, it's on another feed. Search for Dark Souls on your podcast player of choice. It's at episode 17 this week. It's called Finding Ladders. Oh, and the description is James makes some progress for once.
This is the episode after James was insistent that there was a ladder missing, and then he found it. That's a bit of a spoiler there, but then he finds it.
There you go. So that is Dark Souls on Friday. Also this week, on Sunday, sorry, not on Sunday, on Sunday this week will be the Life is Strange True Colours spoiler cast.
I thought you just said not on Sunday, but on Sunday this week. I realised what you meant. Yes.
Yeah, I need to work on my pronunciation. Yes. So it'll be on a day this week. We will release the Life is Strange 2 Colours spoiler cast. We're recording it tomorrow as we're recording this. Patreon.com/TCGS, as David mentioned at the beginning. Patreon bonus show is already out this month, is a good one, and the live talk show will be happening later this month. And TCGS.co is the website for everything else, such as links to our social channels, all of our podcasts, and links to our gorgeous, gorgeous Discord.
That's it. You've had enough. We'll catch you next week for some more video game chat. And we hope you're doing well. Thanks for living it, and we love you all. Goodbye.
Bye.
Cheers.
Goodbye.